few scrims. I saw something on Reddit, they're popping off. And yeah, shout out to the boys.
I'm going to shout out Rupesh as well. Rupesh is number one.
ก็เป็นอินเดียเหมือนกันครับเพราะว่าไม่เคยเห็นเขาเล่นเลยครับในรายการแบบว่าระดับ global
उनको इससे डरना चाहिए क्योंकि उनको पता नहीं हम कैसा खेलेंगे हमारा प्ले हमको खुद ही नहीं पता कि प्रिडिक्ट कैसे करें
Yo creo que el equipo que nadie se quiere encontrar es a Corea, ya que ganaron 2 veces consecutivas.
的队伍就是韩国队。
nghĩ là đánh bại Hàn Quốc là có chức vô địch rồi. Mình nghĩ đậu bạn đã vô địch thế đủ rồi. Còn lại để mùa này với tất cả mùa sau thì để vô mình là được rồi.
그 막기 전까지 좀 그럴싸한 계획이 있다고 한국의 3연속 우승을 막겠다고는 하지만 결코 쉽지 않을 거라고 말해주고 싶어요.
이번 대회 좀 준비 많이 해서 오실 것 같은데 당연히 1등은 저희라고 생각합니다.
Mình sẽ làm mọi thứ mình có thể để mà mình dẫn team đến với thành tích tốt nhất có thể.
可惜的原因，大概率是可能化学反应不是很好吧。
如果我发挥的好的话，应该是一个11分的团队。
The only change we made is we brought the mean, lean, fighting machine, Alo.
Message for Sweden. I mean, we'll try not to make you too disappointed. We'll try our best.
Muchos saludos a la comunidad de PUBG España y esperamos dejar lo mejor posible el nombre de España en la PNC.
絶対に勝ってやるぞっていう気持ちで臨みます。
Bizi desteklemeye devam edin. Bu sene bambaşka bir Türkiye var.
There's something you didn't have before, and it's me in the background, and I'll be watching. You guys better be ready.
USA!
Vamos Argentina!
Vietnam cố lên.
Aussie, Aussie!
What is wrong with you?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to PNC 2025. Can't believe we're back another year here in Seoul, South Korea. I'm Paper Thin.
I cannot wait. We have 24 teams now instead of 16. It's going to be a blast.
We are ready. PNC 2025 gets started right now. Of course, it's Erangel. Let's get that plane up in the air and let's see who's going to come out strong, who's going to get that first chicken dinner here in the survival stage.
The PNC Kings 要在寻找最强的那一位选手。
The final winner of this whole tournament, chicken and beer, will be gifted to you and your whole team, including the coach.
항상 저는 어떤 누구와 붙어도 질 자신이 없기 때문에 항상 자신감이 차 있습니다.
Jago terutama Salu.
Who's gonna be a winner? You can pick yourself also.
Of course me. No, don't shoot. No.
Let's go, Salu. Fight.
No, let's go.
Yeah, let's feast on chicken tonight.
我会告诉他们，我给他们带了一份大餐美食。
今天晚上给你们带了晚餐。
I'm feeling a little bit confident, not much, but we'll try our best. I try my best, guys.
I will try my best, guys, to win this event. 我觉得我状态蛮好的，我应该可以吧。TB 加油！
No shot. Oh my god.
I hope we get us some beer for the boys.
I'll make sure to get us some beer, boys.
He stole my answer.
Was his answer a little bit of influence to your answer?
Yeah, definitely.
Enjoy the beer, boys.
Now we
Bunlar
can't
3
do that,
miymişti?
that's 3.
We're just gonna play the game and we'll see how it goes.
Boom.
I'm very scared right now. I don't think I can perform to my best ability. I'm sweating. My palms are sweaty. Mom's spaghetti.
2人ともやっぱ有名で強い方ですけど、もう勝つ自信は 100% あります。
O tavukla bile bizim olacak. İnşallah. GG ก็มั่นใจ 50-50 ครับ เพราะว่าอีก 2 คนก็เก่งเหมือนกันครับ
I hope I can bring this home because in France, chicken and beer is very important meal. So.
Hey, they do my Let's go.
GG.
Em sẽ cố gắng để lấy bia, rượu và gà về cho mọi người.
I gotta bring them some chicken and beer, yeah. Go Canada, go.
I'm gonna win that for you guys, and Marsalek, be happy, and Pufa, you're gonna drink all the beer.
No way. You can see it.
GG. Eu estou confiante, vou dar meu melhor. Vamos, Brasil. Me comprometo a ganar el torneo y dar mi 100%.
So I'm bringing you home chicken and beer, guys, so you don't have to use the credit card that was provided. We're just gonna have a big feast.
Yo, what's up? Where are you from? Wait, is that guy pushing me?
Yeah, I hope you kill him. Yeah, I hope you kill him.
Oh no! Oh my god!
รอบ 8 ทีมสุดท้ายนี้นะคะ เราจะแข่งกันแค่ 1-1 นะคะ แล้วก็แข่งแค่ครั้งเดียว แพ้ก็คือตกรอบ ชนะก็คือเราจะไปรอบต่อไปค่ะ ในโหมดของ Hard Drop ค่ะ
Ahí te tocó, te deseo suerte. Voy a dar mi 100%.
GG.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck. 加油。
哇
GG.
GG.
Thank you. First person?
Yeah.
Okay. Promise?
Okay.
You swear? No cheating.
No cheating.
Make sure he's in first person.
Oh, I'm dying.
GG, bro. GG, bro.
Good luck, have fun.
Okay.
Fighting, bro.
Fighting.
Oh,
So the semi-finals is going to be best out of 3, 1v1 arena.
Take it easy on me, please.
Good.
GG.
GG.
強敵ですが勝って決勝を進みます。
I'm gonna bring home the beer.
Oh.
GG, bro.
The grand finals will be a 1v1 arena match, and the winner will take home the chicken and the beer.
Get ready to eat some chicken and beer, guys.
USA needs that beer. GG, bro. GG. You know?
Finally. GG's, guys. I'm absolutely fine. Kickstart's a really good player, so it's fine to lose to him.
Well, I have been a PGC king before, so I was pretty jet lagged this one, so I didn't expect to win. But what can I say? I needed that beer. I'm bringing home the boys the chicken, the beer, and the soju tonight. We're gonna have some fun.
Thank you, Kickstart. Thank you, Kickstart. Thank you for winning.
Thank you, Kickstart, for winning.
Beer, just like I said I would. Why'd you do that?
There's nothing for me. Don't even look at me.
Vietnam under pressure from Poland as Cappy will find that not going to be good for your lobby leaders. Himas went for it, and what the hell? Vietnam delete Poland. Flood anticipates that they're going to not push off the back of that. He thought he could get the res off, but a good nade from Sparking will secure that point. But Motti, as soon as he was back up, he's shut back down, and this is so good for Brazil.
Yeah, this is really nicely read by Sparking. Those were fantastic grenades. Read the position, and the Panzer's good as well. Australia goes down, and that opens up. Hey, in a battle with Vietnam, Himas looking for the end. The BRDM is gone, no more safety, and what in the world was that? There's a good C4.
That's how you do it.
Lands right on top of China.
And keep an eye on that rotate, as Korea will lose reigning.
Ah, that's tough. That's tough for Korea. Michael just out in the open, 1v1 winning. Oh, the kiss, the Panzer! The kiss of death is striking. He has tons of damage done. He's looking for more, looking around the backside. It's actually Germany who's helping out a bit here. Brazil is falling, but Sparking is there, and the grenade from Kiss spells his doom.
DraftKings falls, and Argentina are back to a 3. Make that a 1, make that a none. Korea are going to wipe them out, and the Argentinians will fall.
And look who it is, it's Seoul again.
Smooth and original, straight from the underground. Listen to the real funk. Hold on. You better don't stop me. Watch out, the furious. Better be focused. Listen to the real funk.
And it goes a little something like this. It goes on and on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on.
혹시 모델업팅 좀
Smooth and original, straight from the underground.
Day 2 of the PNC Grand Finals. It's Gibson here, and we've had a little change out beside me. Today I am joined by Godspeed. Dustin, yesterday you got to sit back and watch the action from the green room. And it was a pretty good day.
I actually caught the first few games from the stadium, and let me tell you, the energy in here was absolutely out of control. The Korean fans are amazing. I'll tell you even what, after the Korean team went down, they started rooting for USA, so it was pretty sweet. So it was a blast here in the arena. It's electric, and day 2, man, day 2 is gonna bring a lot of violence.
It's gotta be, because this is what I like to call moving day. This is the day where a lot of teams will start moving up and down the leaderboard, and we'll find out who the front runners are to win this event. But it's crazy, because yesterday, 2 teams definitely looked a lot better than the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Vietnam just... They came out swinging, and we figured they would, right? That roster is just absolutely disgusting. You have Sololzi, Tanvu, Delwin, you have Himas, right? You have the Expendables duo that just won PGC, and they came through and they cut a swath through the entire lobby. And then Korea was also not far behind. They refused to let Vietnam have all of the fun, and so they were able to basically just dominate as well.
Yeah, the brilliant day for them. But let's have a look at how we got to this point and the format of the overall event. So on the 23rd and 24th, we did have the survival stage where 16 teams vied it out, the top 8 of which will join the top 8 from last year's Nations Cup to get to the lobby today. And to be honest, when you look at some of the teams that came in yesterday that hadn't played yet, the likes of Brazil, Argentina, Australia, wasn't really the sort of start they would have wanted, but Brazil and USA did heat up a little.
Yeah, I mean, Sparking in particular was dragging his team, kicking and screaming to that victory, as well as just the points that they got. And then finally they all started to kind of come alive. And yeah, I mean, that's just what happens when you have the leadership of a player like Sparking with so much experience. And then USA as well, right? They had a very slow start, and then they managed to string together some really good games at the end, eventually just winning the last game.
Yeah, they need to start today like they finished, though, if they want to hunt down the pack on top. Not to mention good days from Germany and Denmark as well. The format, though, different to the survival stage. It is Miramar to kick things off, finishing it off on Erangel. And this is important to note, because apart from the last Erangel, you got to say, Vietnam, after what was a rapid start, Rondo in the first Erangel did not go the way they would have wanted at all.
It kind of slowed down a little bit, and you know what? We hatched a genius plan. I know you were there with me. I have begun to steal 1 banana a day from Vietnam to kind of throw them off of their game, and we'll see how that works. But yeah, there are definitely some possibilities of them slowing down a bit today. Teams have gone back and watched the VODs to make sure that they know what they're doing. Philippines is going to do what Philippines does. They ruined multiple teams' days yesterday. Australia was one of them, where they kind of just flatten them in Pachinki, right? So we'll see if that is going to be something that happens yet again. But looking at the total leaderboard, it is indeed Vietnam and Korea, 83 and 70 points respectively off of one day. 83 points in one day is absolutely insane.
Yeah, we thought the 74 from Denmark on the survival stage was a really good marker to get, but now we have 83. But this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. There are still 12 games to go.
Correct.
And a lot is going to change. You look at China, and genuinely 1 win away from being in that mix as well. But we're going to throw this one over to Bella to see what's going on.
Hi guys, it's Bella. I'm here at Day 2 final stage of PNC 2025. Apart from the other outdoor event zones that we saw yesterday, we have indoor events here as well. You guys should definitely come out and check everything out here. Today, I'm standing in front of the fan meet and zone greet, so come on, let's hop in line and meet our players. Let's go! A lot of fans standing in line, and I want to grab one fan and get to ask, hello, who are you here to support? Leo 선수. Oh, Chinese Taipei Leo. All right, do you have anything that you want to say to Leo today?
Leo 加油 TP 加油
All right, TP, let's go TP, and good luck to Leo. All right, thank you, bye-bye.
I must say, the Korean fans, again, are just fantastic. And it's not just support for their own team. There's so many fans from other teams. We've seen some Brazilian fans from Korea, which is really great to see. So the meet and greet has been awesome. The venue itself has been amazing, including, of course, the outside area where they have merch and the helmets and the slushies. It's amazing. But let's talk about a team that we've already talked about quite a bit ad nauseum. Vietnam almost unstoppable.
Yeah, we're looking back historically at what their best day one total was, and they are knocking it out of the park. Almost double what they had last year, and over 30 points more than their best ever way back in 2023. And just, they look so good from the start. And I'm going to say it, Delwyn in particular's ability to just sneak up on people and get opening knocks and points for their team in positions where, let's be real, there's not very many players in the world who are willing to risk as much as Delwyn does to get kills at points.
It's not even the risk that he takes, it's his success rate in taking those risks, right? That's what separates him from a lot of the other players. We've had players in other regions before kind of sneak up. Pio kind of comes to mind, like going in those really off-angle positions and making something out of it. Well, Delwyn is just doing it to great effect, and you can see Tom Vu here with a nice self-knock, but it was worth it, so he got something out of it. And then Himas, of course, being the world-class player he is. This roster is just so disgusting. We had a conversation before the event started. I said, as much as I would love USA to win, Vietnam just looks too strong. That roster is just very, very well put together. And then it's also the synergy they've been able to kind of display over the last day was just unreal.
Yeah, Himas in particular is showing why a lot of people mark him down as the best player in the world, but I want to say Tan Vu as well, and some of the decision making that came out of Vietnam was fantastic. Even in this late stage game, to take the high ground, whip out the sawn off, and give USA no chance whatsoever. But I do want to say, the funny thing about this is, there's a great wall of China fans yesterday in front of me.
Yes.
There's a bunch of Korean fans. Both teams are actively shouting on for the downfall of Vietnam.
Yeah, and Korea was, I mean, they're nipping at the heels of Vietnam. They're just behind them, second place. You can see Seoul with 16 kills. You have Yuman with 11. You also have Salute with 12. And you know what? Reigning at 3, I'm pretty sure he's going to pop off today.
And the thing is, right, it's not just about the kills for Reigning, though. It's everything else he brings to the table.
Correct.
His knowledge of the game, his understanding. People need to remember that you don't have to be getting 10 to 15 kills and matching your teammates to be a really good part of the team. Reigning is having a massive impact, and I would say his survivability, like when Korea are winning games, and he's usually one of the last players up in the late game. He very rarely takes risks that he doesn't think he can win.
He's like their insurance policy, right? And something else that we have to note when we talk about Korea is their use of the blue chip transmitter. The amount of reses that they got off, and specifically they were choosing to fight around those blue chip centers so that they could get the most amount of points while mitigating that risk of fighting so many teams back-to-back. And they made it work time and time again, and I think that was a big part of their success yesterday.
Yeah, their timing of it, and you think back as well, they're very smart with knowing who is where and which ones they can go to. But we got a chance to talk to Yuman a little bit earlier today, so let's see what he had to say about yesterday and going into today.
It's Bella. I'm standing with Team Korea's Yuman, who actually won the man of the match yesterday as well. Well, how is Korea feeling today? We had a great day one. What was the talk like coming into day two? 첫날 너무 좋았는데 이틀날 들어오면서 팀원 분위기랑 무슨 얘기하셨는지 말씀해 주실 수 있을까요?
일단 1일차에 너무 좋은 출발을 했기 때문에 70점이란 포인트를 쌓아놓고 시작하기 때문에 분위기 너무 좋고 오늘이랑 내일도 충분히 좋게 마무리할 수 있다 해서 분위기 너무 좋은 것 같습니다.
The team's feeling really, really great. I mean, we already have 70 points, and that is really a big score to build upon. And I think we're going to continue carrying our momentum into today and tomorrow as well. Well, we have one team above you, which is Team Vietnam. What are you planning to do to stop Vietnam from, keeping their place? 베트남 어떻게 막으실 생각인가요?
일단 뭐 딱히 준비한 전략은 없고 그냥 저희가 매치 수가 많아지면 많아질수록 저희가 베트남보다 더 잘할 수 있을 거라고 생각하기 때문에 크게 신경 쓰지 않습니다.
We don't really have a specific strategy coming into today, but I think Team Korea actually has more leverage with more matches that are coming our way. All right, good luck to Team Korea. Thank you, Yumin. 감사합니다. Let's say 안녕.
안녕.
Definitely a great place to be going into day two is second place, giving yourself a team to hunt down. But the third team in the race after day one in third place is China. And I'd say they're the steady eddies of the lobby, right? They're in third place. They're constantly getting into the placement points, picking up kills without necessarily being as spectacular or having the fireworks as the other two teams have had.
No, and we know China to be one of those teams to have the ability to create those fireworks. We've seen both 17 as well as Petrichor Road rack up just incredible kill counts on their way to winning a game. And so this roster definitely has the ability to do it. But yeah, like you said, it wasn't it wasn't that flashy kind of business. They were just taking good moments to steal kills in third parties. They were making sure they weren't getting sandwiched too many times in those third parties. And yeah, they just managed to get good kills and good placement up to third place. And that's something that needs to be, I do worry about other teams when it comes to China, because when they do finally decide to explode and really start to put on the pressure, that's when we see how dangerous this roster really is.
Yeah, and hope that Zhao Wu can stay out of trouble, and Miramar in particular, because he found it pretty much. But we had an interview with Ming Ming earlier today as well, going into day 2.
Hi guys, it's Bella. I'm standing here with Team China's Ming Ming and our wonderful translator, Amy. Wow, what a start Team China had. The best record for Team China here at any all PUBG Nations Cup. What is different for you guys this year?
昨天你们打了一个非常好的开始，那这次你觉得最大的不同点是什么？
我觉得可能运气也是比较好吧，然后再加上我们4个人沟通昨天非常的流畅吧，然后没了。
일단 저희 운이 굉장히 좋았고요. 그리고 어제 저희 4명이 커뮤니케이션이 굉장히 잘 되었기 때문에 전날 이렇게 좋은 성적을 얻을 수 있다고 생각을 합니다.
I think we were very lucky, and the 4 of us communicated so well, and I think that's why we had such a great start here at PNC 2025. All right, well, Team China is #1 with the Pick'em Challenge. Lots of fans sending love your way. What do you have to say to them?
那现在特别多的粉丝都在支持中国队，那你想对你的粉丝讲一些什么呢？
首先谢谢大家支持吧，然后我们也会尽力打好每一场比赛。
우선 저희를 응원해 주셔서 너무 감사드리고요. 그리고 저희는 최선을 다해서 끝까지 하겠습니다.
Thank you for all your love, and we'll do our best till the end. All right, thank you, Ming Ming. 谢谢. Say bye bye.
Bye bye.
A fantastic interview. Thank you so much, Bella. And let's look at this. Is actually an awesome graphic. I'm so glad that we have this. It basically shows you the trajectory of how each one of these teams' day pretty much went yesterday.
Yeah, for Denmark, they started off today incredibly strong. They had a huge day in the first 2 maps. Kind of fell off the gas a little bit as the day progressed, with the points average dipping a little bit as we moved on to different maps. And that's where Thailand, on the opposite side of things, their per day started to grow.
Yep.
But then USA, they finished things off with a bang. And they'll be disappointed not to have 2 wins.
Yeah, very disappointed. And just Thailand as well is just one of those teams that they are so measured, right? They take their time and they strike exactly when the opportunity presents itself. That's what we saw yesterday, and that's how they were able to just stay so consistent. Even the bad games, they were able to find a few kills there, a few kills here, right? And they're able to salvage some placement point as well. USA, on the other hand, started off with 1 point. Wasn't the greatest. You can see the dip, but by the end of the day, they started to kind of get things going, and that's when we saw the game win, as well as just the consistency and just making it to the end game and getting those kills.
Yeah, the big thing for the USA is they had 2 maps yesterday where they only picked up 1 point.
Yeah.
And that is not true to their typical form. And I'm glad you spoke about the kind of the consistency that Thailand found, because historically with the older rosters they brought,
that's not been the case.
It was boom or bust. They
Yeah.
were either winning the map with double-digit kills or going out with a whimper. So it's so much better to see how just changing 1 player and bringing in, a more, I'm going to say, calm a mind and more, I want to say, what's the word I want to use? Passive player to the team has changed their whole mindset.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that roster, you have Fluky, you have Jacob, you have Rossida Jr. and Kiss. Again, just a wealth of experience as we look at the final stage kill leaders. And so I think that, yeah, they've really been able to come together and kind of make this work and correct any mistakes that they've made in the past.
Yeah, now we're going to look at who the most deadly players on the server were yesterday. No surprise whatsoever to see 3 Vietnamese players in there, with Tanvu having himself one of the best days I've seen him have, with 17 kills on the stage. Sol, he took missing some LAN events earlier this year personally, and he came back with a bang.
Look at
with
the
16
damage.
kills.
My goodness.
3,500 damage. And then shout out to Korea too. It's always no surprise after day 1 to see the top 2 teams dominating the kill standings.
Yeah, that's, I mean, even still, 3,500. I mean, he's eclipsing even Tanvu with 17 kills, so that is just more than impressive. Sol had, as you said, something to prove. We haven't seen him at an international for a bit, so now looking at the damage leaders, again, no surprise, Sol in first place. Gustav with 2,600 damage, only 11 kills, and you said it yourself when we were talking in the green room. You feel like this always happens to him, right? He's so consistent in getting the knocks, putting the damage out there, but he just gets pickpocketed left and right every single time.
one of the best mid to long range gunfighters that we have inside of this game, and with that you always open up the ability to have kills be stolen, because a lot of players get down in the open and you have multiple teams firing. And then he loves getting knocks onto teams and compounds as well, where they get rezzed. But that is Gustav. Like, he is one of the best long-range fighters in the game. And I think that he was one of the reasons why they were able to qualify through this event.
Yes.
And if he could put up numbers like that today, expect Denmark to climb even further.
Absolutely. Also, I mean, looking at big shout out to the Philippines and Tentrip, dude. Tentrip in survival stage was out of control. So coming into the final stage, I have big expectations. So far, he has not let me down.
I want to know, did USA or Australia say something to upset Thailand? Or sorry, to upset the Philippines? Because the Philippines were out to get them yesterday. And the best thing about it was, they showed that they can hold their own weight, and a lot of people didn't expect them to win some of the hot drops, but they did, and they did so in impressive fashion.
Yeah, that hot drop on Australia, specifically on Pachinki, was, as a Tegan Australia fan, it was kind of rough to watch, right? They kind of got dismantled. So we'll see if that does continue today. Again, Wrangell will be the last map of the day. We're starting with Miramar. Excited for that one, favorite map. So, and yeah, and the Miramars were also just so quick to start with the violence. Again, the hot drops, the teams now have the ability to use the blue chip if they want to res. We saw Korea use that to great effect. It's been aggression from start to finish every single game, and I personally absolutely am loving it.
Yeah, we were asked as well before the show started who we thought would finish higher out of those teams today. And you could probably guess that both you and I work in the Americas region, that we both voted for USA. It was a toss-up for me between Denmark and USA.
Yeah.
I went for USA only because the fact they came second twice, they finished the day strong, and you and I saw the players. They were not happy about how yesterday went, and they are really focusing on just turning the corner and coming back today and trying to close that gap.
Yeah, you could say shams. There were little shambles at the end, but they did clean it up. And more importantly, the reason I put faith in them is just the fact that they have Gunnar as their coach. They're very serious when they go back to VOD reviews. And so, yeah, it's a no-brainer. But Denmark, Thailand, just so strong as well. They could just as well, you know?
Yeah, and that's not a knock on the coach of Denmark. You and I are massive fans of Avenger as well, but...
Who? That's right, Mark. Yeah,
that guy. But we also asked some of the viewers who they thought would be in the top spot after today between these teams, and no surprise, right? Thailand have a huge following to see them up there. USA though, 34% of the fans, again, that's no surprise to me. I think I'm a little bit upset. I thought Brazil would get more votes because they won a map yesterday, and when Brazil are good, they're very good.
Yeah, I mean, Brazil, again, they have a lot of work to do today. Sparking, again, was phenomenal, so it really just comes down to them making sure that they're all firing on all cylinders and they can kind of help Sparking with that effort, because that team is strong, but we need to see more from them for sure.
And next we move on to the Fantasy League. You can take part. Just make sure to go to twire.gg and select your team. You've got a massive budget of $100,000. I spoke to Paper yesterday. You can build almost whatever team you want with the budget being that high.
Yep.
One player from each team. You can guess which caster forgot to hit save on their team earlier today and did not get their picks in. But then finally, you got to choose your bench player. I tried to start something yesterday. I wanted everybody watching to pick Martin because all the teams are playing with their starting lineup. So let's see if we can get Martin as the most picked player on rosters at this event.
That'd be pretty sweet. I mean, I also want to point out that Sol was 17,000, I think, which is just
bargain.
That's beyond a bargain. That's crazy that he was that cheap. So I doubt he. In fact, I know he wasn't that cheap coming into today. So we'll see. Yeah, the fantasy has been a blast to play, but not only just play for fun. Obviously, you want to play for the ability to win not only G-Coin but prizes as well. There's some amazing mice. I believe that's the Viper V4 Pro. So that's a catch, if you will, and then second, fifth, you get 5,000 G-Coin, and it goes down all the way to 300. So even if you're in the top 300, you get at least 500 G-Coin.
Then you can use that G-Coin, of course, to support the players, obviously. You can buy your favorite nation's helmet. That will help the crowdfunding pool, or you can even buy the Expendables bundle that came out to celebrate our PGC champions.
Exactly. There's a lot of things you can do to support, but make sure you absolutely play. And so, yeah, coming into today, I want to know, since you were casting yesterday and I'm coming in, Do you think we're going to see the same speed of these teams kind of going at one another, or do you think because they went back and they actually watched the VODs that they might slow things down, maybe opt to not go for some of those hot drops?
If I was VOD reviewing yesterday's action, the first thing I'd be doing was pointing out which teams were taking the most advantage of the recall systems and fighting early, because we're starting to see a situation where a lot of teams are playing close to them or on top of them, because they know they can get more aggro, they can bring players back, so you might see teams targeting specific rotations. The big thing for me though in the VOD will be if I'm Australia, if I'm UK, if I'm Brazil, I'm going to stop trying to crash the same compound and ruin each other's games, because it happened 2 games in a row yesterday, but in reverse order.
Yeah, and we saw specifically in Miramar, some of the compounds, specifically the one north of San Martin, at one point fielded like 4 teams, and no one was willing to back off, and I think it was Thailand that kind of got the best of that fight. So it's, yeah, today is going to be, like I said, just uncontrolled violence. There's been so many teams that are willing to crash, and then the third party, because of the caliber of teams in this lobby, has been pretty much constant. The second you get in a gunfight, you have to expect that someone is going to peek over a ridge or straight up just go for your knocks as soon as you show any sign of weakness in the kill feed.
Yeah, and remember, there are a bunch of co-streamers streaming this event as well. If you want to pop into their communities or see what they have to say about today's action, there are way too many to list out and name them all, but just keep an eye on the bottom of your screen. We've got some fantastic people in there. I see Danik D in there, one of the European streamers. You know, I think we see some pro players in that list as well. And there's a couple of folks from basically all around the world. No matter what language you speak naturally, there's basically a co-streamer for that.
Yep, we definitely want to shout them out. Again, watching with us is great, but if you have someone who loves to create content for PUBG, you can watch with them as well, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, so make sure to tune in and show them some love as well. But I can promise you the action here will be just as good, where you can get your drops. Remember, we saw it on the bottom of the screen earlier. Link your account, get your drops, get yourself some free stuff inside the game as well.
Yeah, the merch inside the game, we've talked about the skins. You know, you get the G coin from going for those fantasy league points. You maybe get lucky, upgraded progressive once. So it could be something great for you in store. Just make sure you are playing with the fantasy as well as going for the 3x3. We do have the grid system for predicting those chicken dinners, and yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, and make sure if you win that G coin, then maybe purchase the Espadance and do it alongside the band tomorrow. Will they'll be opening up the show for us?
Not yeah, it is. Tomorrow is going to be. It's going to be a madhouse in here in the best way. So looking forward to that as well. But yeah, so predictions for today. I think Vietnam's not going to slow down.
You don't think so?
Regardless of me stealing one of their bananas.
They have had bad days in the past, though. You know, we know, I think, was it last year, their day one? Or maybe it was the year before, they did not have a great day one at all compared to historically. But you might have to go to even more drastic measures. Maybe tamper with the AC for them a little bit, you know, maybe let the air out of the bus to make sure they don't get here on time. But we have a little sketch with some of the players. Let's see what they had to say.
Bọn mình luôn luôn cho top 4 mà. Bây giờ chỉ còn vô địch nữa thôi. Lần trước không có tôi, bây giờ có tôi, anh em sẽ vô địch được thôi. Lầm. Ok, đi thôi. Ok, làm cái đi. 1, 2, 3.
Listen up. We have got 2 goals to this PNC. First, we gotta win PNC. And second, we need to get a Aespa's autograph.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. Okay.
중국 대표팀은 일단 최근 스크림에서 느꼈을 때 4명 다 자신감 있는 플레이를 하는 것 같고 4명 다 엄청 공격적인 것 같아요.
我觉得韩国队伍打法什么的都很完整嘛，然后打得也很好，但是这一次冠军该是我们了。
뭐라는 거예요? 한국 음식이 입에 안 맞나? 말 실수하네. 3등까지 줄 수 있다. 3등에 올려.
No.
중3 딱.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
Fantastic.
Nice. You in New Jersey, bro.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's not looking good on you.
Is what it is.
Yikes.
You know, it kind of sucks to not be on the same team, but it's also fun to come back as enemies. I mean, you got second place last year, but, you know, I'll lift that trophy for you this year, mate.
Didn't you guys get like 8th last year? Like, we only lost by 1 point. And you're IGLing this year, right?
Nah, that was just a fluke. We're the real deal this year, trust.
You say that every year, man. You gotta figure your stuff out. Korea's three-peat will be no longer. They will not win.
Yeah, I don't think this year's for Korea either.
We will make sure they will not win.
I'm down.
Guaranteed. Let's go.
Chúng tôi đã có nhiều lỗi đáng tiếc.
ก็ PNC ครั้งที่แล้วผมรู้สึกว่าพวกเราพลาดไปหลายจุดครับผมรู้สึกว่าพวกเราทำได้ดีกว่านี้ครับ
希望这次可以让我们没有遗憾吧。最后站在舞台上的一定是我们中国队。
Vamos competir com muita paixão e dedicação.
Và chúng tôi đã chuẩn bị rất nhiều. Và lần này chúng tôi xứng đáng giành được chức vô địch.
1 year has passed and we're back in Seoul. And this time we'll make sure to defeat Team Korea.
And we'll show you what a powerhouse Team Australia can be. Please look forward to the birth of a new champion.
Esperen que nuestro equipo sea muy fuerte este torneo.
Survivor stage itu sama saja ibaratnya kita main scrim biasa.
I think the real games are beginning now.
Team Norway will make sure to take the trophy.
Esta vez vamos a vencer a Corea. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. 간단하게 인터뷰 하나 진행하겠습니다.
아, 네.
팬분들한테 한마디 부탁드립니다.
저희 이번 PNC 되게 준비 열심히 많이 했고 잘 되고 있어서 좀 기대하시면서 많이 지켜봐 주시면 좋을 것 같아요.
그러면 이제 한국에 견제하는 팀들한테 한마디 부탁드릴게요.
한마디요? 요즘 공공의 적이더라고요, 아주. 모든 팀들이 저희를 노리고 있던데 지난 2년간 어디가 우승했는지 잘 아시죠? 뺏을 테면 뺏어보세요.
That is a bold statement from Mr. Seoul and Team Korea, but he is absolutely right. They are the back-to-back champs, so you really cannot take that away from them as we get ready here to finally set into the first game of the day, match 7 of the finals.
Yeah, match 7 is going to start, and one thing he did say is everyone's got a target on their backs.
Yeah.
But he's not wrong. What, 4 different teams that were interviewed all referenced stopping Korea.
That is true.
It goes to show the amount of respect that these teams have for this nation, and honestly, at this moment in time, second place after day 1, they're going to take that, and they know. I think this is a team that, yes, they're brilliant at leading from the front, but they love chasing a team down as well, and they're going to haunt Vietnam.
Yeah, they are going to chase down Vietnam, I'm sure. That team is strong, but it's finally time to get started. The first game of the day, match 7, will be, of course, on Miramar.
Cannot wait to get stuck into this map. It was bedlam yesterday with that crazy end zone between Denmark, Germany, Brazil, and Vietnam. It's going to be even more fun today, I bet. Flight path, though, is going to kick us off, going from the northwest just down to the very eastern side of the map. Yesterday, Germany would always drop early. They went to their alt drop quite a lot. They didn't want a hot drop with Thailand like they intended and water treatment. I'll be curious if they'll be the last team off the plane this way and stride a long drop down to Puerto.
Yeah, we'll see if they go for that again. Now remember, this plane is cutting off a pretty significant portion of the south. If you're a Chuma team, if you're a Monte team, if you're a Leones team, or anything in that area, you're going to have to stretch farther, which means less time for you to loot. It's going to be more of a rotation that you have to contest with other teams. So we'll see if the teams are going to opt for that, or if they're just going to go for an all drop, as you said, like we saw Germany, specifically with them. They just did not want to deal with any of the hot drops.
And I was speaking to some of the European players, and their exact words were, if you hot drop Germany, you hot drop Ascend, they're going to back off. They don't want to fight in the early game. And it's something that you tend to see with Germany whenever they're playing well, is they survive into the late game. You know, they might not get a bunch of points in the first 10 minutes.
I think it's smart.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no problem with that strategy at all, as we do see them getting very close there to Team UK. Actually, Chris is right on top of Vard right there.
Yeah, I think that UK, though, they'll drop inside Impala, and we'll see Germany stretch all the way down to Puerto Paraiso. If you're Team UK, though, and the circle does eventually pop north, or even that circle now, you have the opportunity to potentially gatekeep those entry points for Germany, but in the past, we've seen them go way west and up north and come in that section of the map.
Not quite sure that's what they're going to plan to do here, especially with the circle as well as the plane path and how contested that west coast is going to be. Really, my eyes are drawn to Argentina. They have such a big control point of the circle currently, so where are they going to choose to play? You can see Capitan currently looting and Cruz de Valle, but yeah, and this often becomes the most difficult part about getting circle one pop if you're dead center, if you have such a commanding position like this. Norway is also in that, but you know what, we'll get to my point in a second as we head to an interview really quick.
Hello mọi người, mình là Himat. Mình đến từ đội tuyển Việt Nam. Mặc dù chúng tôi đã có những lỗi lầm đáng tiếc, nhưng mà năm nay sẽ khác. Dù chúng tôi đối đầu với những đội nào thì chúng tôi cũng tự tin. Tại vì những con người Việt Nam không có dở, nên là tới 4 là chuyện bình thường thôi ạ. Bọn mình đã chuẩn bị rất kỹ, và nếu gặp Hàn Quốc ở trong game thì bọn mình sẽ đánh bại họ. Mặc dù đây là một trận chiến khó khăn, nhưng mà lần này chúng tôi sẽ đánh bại Hàn Quốc. Mục tiêu của mình tại giải đấu lần này chỉ là vô địch thôi ạ. Bọn mình sẽ cố gắng hết sức. Chúng tôi sẽ tạo ra một nhà vô địch mới.
Another name drop of Korea again as a team looks to take it off them. But I actually love Himas. He's such a nice guy. He's so soft-spoken.
Out of game.
Yeah,
you have to correct yourself. He's a nice guy out of game.
Yeah, but he is a menace inside the server.
He's a monster. He's a monster inside the server. But yeah, and I also love the confidence and how pretty much everything has come to play out. Korea said, you heard Seoul say, you know what, everyone's going to come for us, but don't forget who we are. We're still going to get up there, and we're still going to make sure that we're going to get in the top 3. And China's going to get 3rd place. And that's actually exactly what happened. And then you heard him say, you know what, we're going to take the fight to Korea, and we're going to dethrone them. They're currently sitting in 1st place. So the confidence of these players is absolutely astounding. But back to what I was saying, Argentina has a decision to make, and sometimes when you get that first circle pop, it's hard to know where you should play because you have such a plethora of options, and you don't want to choose wrong. So that's why we see so many teams often go for these early game splits.
Yeah, and it looks like they are moving right on top of the section just above Ribo and dead center of the circle, that they're going to share it with Norway. As we watch Thailand rotating in, Poland, who had an interesting Miramar to say the least yesterday, they're going to get shot at by Calbs from the Philippines as they rotate inside the circle, all the way up on the northern section. And the curious thing about this time was, remember it was Norway.
Oh, I love that he's shooting tires.
Yes.
That's so smart. And I love this play from the Philippines. They have spread themselves thin on the north side to make sure that they can punish and dictate these rotations. And the first team to get caught on that is going to be Poland.
Yeah, and they're going to hunt down Pufa now, who's going to be prone and crouch outside the wall. Algen Bots with a little bit of damage dealt this time around, but he really needs some support from up on top of the hill. Magsters and Cappy need to push and get that knock. Now, Cappy gets a really good angle, and Cappy will find that knock as Fluky from Thailand will look to third party. But first blood has been drawn, and it's Poland and Philippines are locking in that fight. Pufa, well, he's got a fight with Tentra. Remember, this was a fight that happened multiple times yesterday. Philippines and Poland, and Poland were way too passive at times in those fights.
Yeah, I like that Poland has taken a much more aggressive stance here. They've actually stopped off. It could have potentially gone off, but that nade from Tendrip is going to find Cappy. And so it's now down to a 3-on-3, but the time is ticking. But that storm will come in at the best time as CJ and Tendrip will get Marslick and Pufax.
This is insane again. Tendrip and CJ are so good, as Tendrip will start closing the gap with the Sandstorm, but Magsters will find Tentrip as Poland give themselves a fighting chance. But that's that. Poland will be the first team to fall. CJ and Tentrip combining to wipe them out.
Yeah, but Thailand is coming forth. They heard the shots. They had a scout up there with Fluky looking, and now they've sent Kiss and Jacob forward to try to see if there's anything to clean up. But because that happened so quickly, the Philippines have recovered.
Yeah, and elsewhere, Korea are starting to surround Denmark as well. Essentially a 2-2 fight with Salute looking up over the high ground, but now Jacob will stand and wait. And you will see Algin bots go prone behind the Murado, but by popping the tires, you give yourself a chance. But good shot from CJ. And look, Jacob, he's been in the situation where he smokes off that angle, can't quite get the knock. But Thailand, I think they know they've got the Philippines really weak. The question is, will they push this, or do they just rotate and fall back?
And they don't need to. I think this is perfect. I love this play from Thailand. They sent 2 forward. They checked to see if there was anything that they could get off that. Once they realized there wasn't, they backed off. There was no reason to overcommit on a fully 4-strong team right there, and they still had Fluky and Rosseted in positions as anchors. So again, just fantastic decision-making from the team of Thailand.
Yeah, Beamy's almost being hounded and corralled into a position here by Korea as being held, but I think he's realized that if there's someone up on the high ground firing shots in, it's probably a distraction to bring Salute around this side. So Denmark have to be so careful, and I think that Korea are playing this really well. They're not taking too much of a risk, but they're just fishing, right? That's what they're just fishing to see if they can get someone from Denmark to overpeak.
Yeah, but speaking of fishing, you're gonna have Delwyn here just kind of cresting over this ridge to see what he can find as they are scouting forward. He is the tip of the spear currently for Vietnam, and that's a hell of a player to have at the tip. As Indonesia, look at them, just cruising into the circle. They'll be, the team's taking those E-pick-up, and for them, they have a lot of options on the east, but I will say the west and the center of this circle are very heavily contested. Pretty much everyone is inside of the circle except for USA.
Yeah, and they'll come into the north section. You know, that whole area around water treatment is pretty clear right now as they make their way in. Chinese Taipei, who played, I'll say it, they played a bit more aggressively than we saw in the survival stage yesterday. They picked up a bunch of kills. They weren't as present in the late game, though, because of it, and I feel like they're going to look, it's Leo's farewell tour. He wants to have as good an event as he possibly can. And speaking to them last night, obviously through the translator, because their English isn't great, they're relaxed. They're not, you know, I wouldn't say they're overly confident, but these players that have been in situations like this before at PNC, they're going to want to see if they can start climbing the table on day 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult task, though, because of, I mean, we can already see how strong this lobby really is. I mean, there really is, we talked about it in the survival stage, there's no room for mistakes, as you're going to get punished and punished hard. You can see Brazil currently sitting in a nice split here on the west side. They're going to be just off of Hacienda, as you can see Santastico here, looking for members of Norway, and Indonesia has decided to go far east, and this is actually great. This is where we thought they would go. This is what was the most open, and they have a lot of room to work with here, especially if they do want to wrap towards the north, towards Thailand.
The biggest thing about this is they've found a huge pocket of space, but even more importantly than that, they should be able to get a few default spawn vehicles as well.
Yes.
The big risk when taking E-pickups is that you don't have the ability to move later on in the game. By moving early and finding the space, they'll be able to do so, and they'll get some vehicles on the board. Some level 3 gear for Monte, though, as Australia looked to rectify what was a disappointing day 1 for them.
Yeah, they're currently in this very awkward position. They're split 2-2, but in between them is the 2-2 split of China. So it's almost like a sandwich between Australia and China here. We'll see how that's going to consolidate. I mean, you can even see if Australia wanted to actually meet up, they'd have to potentially even go through Brazil. So that's going to be awkward, to say the least, as we can see Tentrip now coming back.
Yeah, look, he's going to go north. He's going to join his team. He'll be able to get some loot as well and get back on his feet. I think it's really important for Philippines to keep the likes of Tentrip inside the game as long as they can because of the ability he has to open up fights for them. But we've got, I would say it's a lot calmer here on Miramar than it was at this point yesterday.
Yes.
And I think that does come down to some VOD review, and I think it comes down to the circle we've been given as well.
Yeah, the circle was, I say, was fair, but at this point now, it's cut a lot of the southern teams out. You can even see Australia there is going to have to move in. The edge now on the southwest is going to be Brazil. Denmark as well going to be rotating right past Vietnam, and that's a dangerous rotation to make, but it looks like they are going to get out of the danger zone, at least for now. Tanvu in pursuit.
This compound, this gas station they're going in, I know the players will play it a lot. I'm not the biggest fan of it in the world because you're surrounded. Yes, the two teams on the high ground will essentially give you some cover to fight with each other first, but it's really hard to get out of there if the circle shifts away. But we have ourselves another crew members of Denmark in a ton of trouble as they kept on moving by. Indonesia will pick up those kills, and it leaves Denmark as just the two from this point on, and I don't see any world where they're able to get them back and get a recall station.
Nope, and that's the benefit of their early pickup. They were able to find some good space, take some control, and because of that, they cut off rotations coming in who unfortunately didn't find an air pickup. So great for Indonesia. They're going to pick up 2 off of Denmark. You still see that split, or I should say not a split anymore. It's really just a duo that's left from Denmark, and they're going to be at that gas station that you were just talking about.
Yeah, they need to just maximize the points they can get as a 2 from this point, try survive as long as they can. But Argentina getting very close to Vietnam. Danger close, one would say, as Delwyn takes a couple of tags of damage from that MK, but Emmy will fall back into cover, realizing that his position isn't the best in the world for that fight. And not only that, when there's one, there's usually more. So he's going to fall back now, keep the vehicle safe, as we see that Germany rotate, and they're playing right on the edge of the circle, just staying out of trouble.
Det såg bra ut för Fast Face och grabbarna i början.
Style of play. It does work for them. They're able to get points in the
Låg
late game.
etta
So
dag 1.
again, it's not surprising to see that. What really is going to be an issue is for all of these teams on the south. We can almost assume that this is going to go probably north of that Death Valley we talked about in that survival stage when we saw Circle end here, and that's going to cause such a cluster in the middle for so many teams to try to get past. You can see Vietnam there, Argentina, Indonesia is currently set up there. You still have the duo of Denmark. Australia is also off to the west with Brazil actually just to the south of them. So
Jaha, blir det en vodka-lippo?
Of space that's just going to have to come with fights. I mean, there's really no other way to get past that unless you see a team like Germany rotating on the east outside of Azahar.
Yeah, starting to get a little busy here on the south as well, with Korea, China, and UK all within firing range of each other, as China will elect to send X-Left way out to the very edge of the circle, but Seoul will find that knock on the Fex. Now, looking at the rest of the team, UK should be able to get that res. You fall back, he's in a little dip, you go for it, but I'm looking at it, right? Indonesia in a fantastic position. Vietnam, your lobby leaders, in the center of the circle right now as well. All these teams that you'd want to see in good position to pick up points are in position, but in different ways. Like Vietnam, they're in a good position for later on in the game. They're guaranteed to be in the next circle. Korea, though, they're going to be in fights.
Yeah, Korea is going to have to fight this one for sure. From the south.
Ja, det var uppe norrut va, mot Kambodja förstår jag.
Option available. We did see Seoul take out Fex, right, or at least knock him, so they are aware that that's going to be Team UK. But just behind them is actually going to be China, and look at that ship. We are going all the way to the west.
Yeah, Argentina. How long do they hold that 2-2 split now, though? Like, you've got a lot of ground. I'm happy either way. I like it if they play aggressive and keep it, but I also don't mind if they play a little bit passive and collapse.
Well, I think what's going to happen as well is the teams around them might actually protect them from other teams crashing. Really, their biggest threat right now, I would say, is going to be Denmark's duo or Vietnam for whatever reason, but they're not going to leave that compound. They actually have a great position currently. So they actually might be able to hold that for quite a while. As we now see Korea getting onto the backside of the compound here of Norway.
Yeah, Seoul will try to open things up with a nade, and utility was his perfection. Yes, it is again. Seoul with another brilliant nade. He's been so good with those over the course of the last 2 days. Now, Itzy, he's going to dance his way around the back of the compound to try and get an angle. Norway really needs that next knock. But Gumin with a Panzer at the ready here. This is looking really bad for Norway if Gumin can hit that shot.
And the best part about this fight for Korea is it's happening within the circle, so they don't have to rush, but it's going to be Biel. He's going to find Highman, so that's 1 kill stolen already from Korea, and now the utility is coming back their way. They are stuck in that long building.
And Sparking has closed the gap as well now with an arm in his hands, but Itzy with a good molly will find that knock onto Seoul. Now do Korea go for the res? Guman will continue to wrap around with that Panzer, waiting for the opportunity, but the shot from Sparking put him off, and that forced them back into cover, and really Brazil are Norway's best allies in this fight at this point in time. But I can also see that Sparking has taken, I think China have just tried to crash on with a C4.
They did. Yeah. They did, and it was on the side of Australia, and that fight's happening on the southwest. We'll get to that as we're still in this fight. They were able to get up that knock, so Korea is back up to 4. Meanwhile, in the distance, it's China just devastating the team of Australia.
Yeah, hopping on the angle now, though. Brazil have fallen back. Sparking couldn't get the kill that he wanted, so he'll just play back into position as X-Left will be with Monty back in the other fight. But Korea back up to 4 players standing. Human with another nade.
And look at this, now UK and T-Bone want to see what's going on as they're starting to look over the fight between Korea and Norway, and China has just cleaned up Australia, and you can see the disappointment on those boys' faces.
Kambodja har nog inte mycket att komma med i alla fall. Jämförelse.
And they are going back and forth, but again, they have to be careful of the teams trying a third party.
Yeah, they're doing damage onto Korea, but not enough to get the knocks, and Korea don't miss. 3v2, oh my god, Salute just deleted teams from the window. Seoul's going to get knocked on the other side, though, as it's really just mutually assured destruction, but it's all down to a 10. He's dancing around, but Korea will wipe out Norway, and hear the roar from the crowd as they've won that fight, but now they got to focus forward because the zone shifted away.
Yeah, and their only saving grace there is that both Brazil and UK decided to let off the gas on that fight just because of the circle. So even though Korea did win, their consolation prize is a rough rotation into the southern edge of this circle, as we can now see Germany as well starting to make their entry into the circle on the east side.
Setson and Simoy combining to wipe out CJ as Indonesia move up to 4 kills now. Philippines just sprinting away, and Kiss will get the knock onto Algin bots. Is there any player in PUBG this year whose star has risen quicker than Kiss for Thailand?
No, Kiss has just been phenomenal, even on his team of Forest Gaming. He's now representing his country, and he's doing it with pride, as Philippines will fall to 13th place. Now it's Chinese Taipei trying to hold out China.
Yeah, China rotating through Chinese Taipei. The nade's going to get thrown. Is it good? It's going to go just a little bit too far behind as X-Left will move on by. So Chinese Taipei not getting a knock onto China, but Savior might get the opportunity, but USA will find that one from afar. So USA not too far away. Look, USA guarding that recall system.
I absolutely love it. I'm so glad you mentioned that. They are fighting around that system, making sure nobody else will not only get the res, but that's actually such a strong position in the circle on that west side, divided by the road. They have all the high ground there to work with. This is phenomenal for USA.
Yeah, they should be able to flush out Savior now too, but Korea and UK within touching distance. Salute once more will just delete Vard. He will crawl back towards Michael. Michael will stay on his feet in the fight until T-Bone can get into a position to provide some cover, or else he's going to pick him up. He's going to put him in the back of the truck maybe and fall back. And interestingly enough, Korea not getting aggressive off that knock. They're using it to reposition and get into a better position for the fight a little bit later on.
Yeah, because what waits ahead for them if they are able to get rid of UK is going to be Vietnam, as they are right next to Fex. He's the only one in the circle as the other 3 members are trying to recover here. Leo's going to find Axelef in the distance, and Kickstart is going to find a nade knock on to Malrush, but a trade from Leo. He's going to find Alo.
Yeah, quick double tap there from Leo. Gets the knock onto Alo as Shrimzy will do a little bit more damage. Savior still inside the shack. No BZs there to help him out as Brazil bring the fight. BL with a great nade on the little goes on. Hemas steps up, gets the knock onto Vard, and Vietnam now bringing the pressure to Team UK. Michael took a ton of damage, as it did Fex, but even more good nades. Tanvu gets another knock, and this should be a third.
UK is in so much trouble. The last member is going to be T-Bone. He stretched out to fight Korea to make sure they weren't able to third party this, but it doesn't even matter, as Vietnam is going to clean up what's left. UK, it's just down to T-Bone. He will fall as well.
And Vietnam get knocks on the Korea too, And this is huge for Vietnam. They can bring the fight to Korea now as the closest rivals and not worry about getting into the zone just yet. So keep an eye on that. Brazil did fall at the hands of China, and it looks like Argentina have extended out towards Korea now as well.
And Argentina needs to get as aggressive as possible. They need these points, and they need to get rid of Korea and then push the fight towards Vietnam. But that is a tall order, as these are the lobby leaders currently.
Savior gets a knock onto Alo as well as Chinese Taipei, doing serious damage onto the USA.
Very serious.
3 members down now, they're trying to get a res, but Chinese Taipei fighting back. Argentina will have to go up against 2 members of Korea now. Ribo will get the knock onto Salute. It's just 1 player standing. Yumin, the man of the tournament yesterday. Let's see if he can wrap around and get a brilliant spray transfer. DraftKings shuts him down, and Korea fall in 10th place.
Well done by Argentina, but again, they have to deal with Vietnam. And as you stated, it was Chinese Taipei that ripped apart the USA. We didn't really get a chance to see it. USA is out, and Leo will pretty much single-handedly take them out, and a spray comes from Capitan, and he will find Delwyn.
The retirement tour continues for Leo as they wipe out USA, but China are now focused that way as Leo will fall. But Argentina, they get the knock, they get a flush onto Vietnam, and now they're going to put more pressure. Well, actually, no, they're falling back. They're going to focus on getting into the circle. And I mean, look, let's give Denmark credit.
Yeah, something to note, the duo of Denmark is still alive. It's Beanie and Ketter. They managed to slip all the chaos and find themselves some placement points here. As you can see, Zhao Wu and Aixleft are the last 2 remaining for China, and they have a decent position here.
Yeah, Denmark are going to send Ketter a little further away. He'll come under heavy pressure from Thailand as we look at Germany playing the edge of the circle. Wonder now if Teddy has got enough utility to throw this way.
Oh, spray coming in now from Teddy. You said it yourself. He has been absolutely exquisite in this event so far. And that's not going to stop here, as they're going to find Zerath. They're going to find the rest of Germany, and they're going to get eliminated.
Yeah, Vietnam now, they've got 2 players inside the circle. Salalzi will join them in a few moments as well as they focus on getting in, but heavy pressure. Look at that, Indonesia with another knock and putting loads of pressure onto your lobby leader. So Vietnam, just 2 players strong as we have a look at this nade from Zhao Wu. Vietnam exploding with the nade, and he just keeps on. That's
he got
insane.
the double. That's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting, but I expect nothing less from Zhao Wu.
He's insane. He's so good when he lives to the late game. Argentina, 4 players up for them. Thailand and Indonesia the same. Everyone.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's see Beamy do what Beamy does.
This is such a big opportunity for them though, Gibson. They cannot squander this. It's very rare in a lobby like this, you're given position like this, and they worked for it, don't get me wrong, but they have to make sure that they are picking up and cleaning these kills, and they do not get backstabbed, more importantly, by China.
Yeah, and Emme, he's the player that's keeping an eye on China to watch that rotate in. Everyone else full focused. Vietnam are loving this as well, because Argentina are putting long-range pressure on. As Simoy got knocked in Thailand, looked like they're pushing up to that, but Jacob, 1 good nade. Now you see it being thrown into the distance. Is he going to find a couple of knocks? He gets another knock onto Simoy. And Thailand, you got to push aggressive. There we go. Look, 2 members from Indonesia have fallen. And all these little fights are playing into the hands of the likes of Argentina, Denmark, and Vietnam, because Indonesia were 4 strong.
Yeah, and I mean, this is even an opportunity for Vietnam to flex out if they realize too many members are not watching their edge. They can actually hold out Indonesia. That's an option for them. They are only 2. But it is an option nonetheless. You can see TD really the closest one to the circle now for Indonesia, as Thailand do have a corner of their compound still in. So I imagine they're going to take this northern ridge and start to really enact their control from there.
Yeah, and that's exactly right on cue. Rossiter has taken up that position, stepping in as IGL. Savior from Chinese Taipei, looking to get some revenge onto China, getting Aixleft down to 1 HP. Another good shot from Savior will get China really low now, but Savior in this 1 versus 2's got to pick his moments as DraftKings flexes out. You said they needed to start picking up some kills from this position and cleaning them up. That's exactly what DraftKings is doing.
Yeah, wonderful stuff, but they still have a lot of work ahead of them. They still have a full team of Thailand on the opposite side of the circle. They just need to get rid of Vietnam first, maybe with the help of Indonesia, and then take the fight to Indonesia. And then they'll worry about Beamy and Denmark and China.
Yeah, China now full, sending it into the circle to both players, just 1 shot away from falling as Zhao Wu will almost
Ouch.
was just centimeters from safety as Chinese Taipei will fall to the blue, and XLEF, the last player standing. The vehicle's been completely immobilized, and so is XLEF. China are going to fall as Thailand pick up a couple more kills. 5 teams left alive. Argentina, the only team alongside Thailand with 4 players up, and Denmark have just been staying out of trouble.
And we're just waiting to see what the circle does at this point. You can see Argentina are holding their ground strong. Beamy maybe coming over to take a peek and see what's happening. He does see Emmy. He's going to take some shots, but he's not going to find the mark. Meanwhile, it's going to be Thailand now that are starting to move and flex about to the east. As you can see, Denmark has been eliminated.
I love this. The 2 teams that are 4 strong are on opposite sides of the circle as Kiss will pick up Trick. Another kill on the board, and that leaves just Teddy left standing for Indonesia. Vietnam just getting more and more points. 93 for them now. Teddy's feet are exposed, but Capitan will just prevent Kiss, at least for now, from getting that kill, because Argentina want to get that one of their own. 567 damage for Capitan as things stand. And look at that circle shift.
Yeah, the problem, though, is even though they are 4 alive, they have to deal with the shack that Vietnam has, and you can see that there's a window they can see out of. If that's not adequately covered, you can even see a deployable cover in there. If that's not covered, that's going to be a rough run down for Argentina, because it's not just Vietnam that's going to be looking at them, it's also going to be Thailand.
And that's such a hard position to push, right? Because if you try to take Vietnam out by crashing that spot, Thailand or Argentina are going to put pressure on.
It's perfect for Vietnam.
It's so good. Like, you have to get within throwable distance, blue zones, but you're not going to with the other 2 teams,
right,
because the second you close that gap, the other team is going to get the angle. But look at Rossiter Jr. He's creeping in. He's making sure Thailand have a safe position inside the circle, and Argentina need to find some way to do the same.
See what they decide to do, and you can see there's indecision here. They're trying to figure out what their path inside the circle is going to be. Their edge that they have is just way too open for them to get anything off of it, so this is going to have to be a play where they maybe stretch out off of a knock. But I love this position as well from Jacob and Fluky. They're making sure that if there was a Western wrap,
here we go,
it gets thwarted. But the C4, and here comes DraftKings. Is he
Oh,
gonna
yes.
go straight for the shack?
Let's go.
It looks like he is. And
Bye
is he gonna
bye,
make it there?
Vietnam.
He will. That's a suicide mission, but it's good enough. If he can just get the knock and a tad boo, and he does. He gets them both.
Oh, I think Kiss actually got one onto Hamas, but great from Argentina. But now it's a 3 versus 3. You've got 1 knock, but I think they should be able to get back up to a full 4, and they do. But now Argentina, yes, they lost a player, but look what they've just secured for themselves. And I think Capitan's going to try to get a
crate. You know what? That was worth DraftKings' life. Sure enough, they get the position, but they're not out of it yet. This is a 3-on-4, and now you can see that Thailand have made it inside the circle. They now have room to play with Fluky and Jacob.
Yeah, Capitan now. His position's going to be known. He made a lot of noise moving here, but he's got the benefit now of a fresh 3 vest, a fresh 3 helm, and a Groza, which absolutely shreds players. Thailand staying pretty close together. Emmy up on the high ground. Rossiter trying to keep the smoke down to make sure that Emmy cannot get that angle in the late game. But Raibo, he's the insurance plan for Argentina as things stand.
110%. You can see Argentina with 7 kills now. This would be a huge boon if they can finish off this game with a win. Picking up all these kills from Thailand, but you can see Capitan is now giving his position away.
And look at this, Rossiter is wrapping around. They know that Capitan's got the angle. Capitan does a ton of damage onto Jacob and finds the knock. 3 versus 3 now as Emmy is temporary in the fight. Capitan once more will find Fluky as Argentina are bringing the fight to Thailand. But Rossiter, this is the fight right here. This is the big one. Emmy spots him out.
That's huge. That's going to be communicated, but it doesn't even need to be because Emmy will find Rossiter Jr. as well. And what a play off of the C4. It is now 3-1 for the team of Argentina.
And they know where Kiss is.
Can he clutch? Can he clutch?
Deadly demon on the server. He gets the knock onto Capitan. Damages Raibo, and he's going to try to secure as many points as he can for Thailand. He's going to believe he can still win this, but you got to pick up as many points as you can just in case you don't get over the line. This nade could be the big one here as he tosses it up over towards Raibo, but he heard it, Rybo's going to confirm out another kill, as does Emmy.
Yep.
In this 2v1 though, you still can't rule out Kiss.
Yeah, great job getting those kills secured now. Is Rybo going to go for Capitan? That's the question, Emmy. With the possibility to cover, you can see Kiss now. He wants to make sure he denies this res, but there's just not much he can do. As you can see, more cover falling from the sky.
Yeah, he's pinned, right? The blue zone's going to be at his back in a few seconds. He's got to step in a little further. Emmy is preventing him from getting close enough to do any real damage of note. So for Kiss, look, we all know that in reality, Argentina should win this game. And I like the way Argentina now, they've got all three players back on their feet. They're all holding different angles. There should be no way that Kiss gets out of this position.
The only way Kiss wins this is if Argentina messes up and they give him 3 isolated 1v1s. Otherwise, this should be them closing out. They have centered on, they have everything, but a
Let's
spray
go,
from
let's
Kiss.
go.
That could
Come on.
ruin it, and a headshot
You got
will
it.
land on the rebound, but no! Argentina will shut them down and take a much-needed victory in
Fucking
match
nail-biter.
number 7. What a hell of a game to start the day off.
And how good was that from Emmy on the southern side of the circle, but on the high ground. The amount of times that you saw someone from Thailand trying to push Capitan, but Emmy got the angle. And even if Emmy didn't get the knock, he still got eyes on and was able to tell Capitan pressure was coming.
That, man, I can only imagine how the players feel. I need a break after that one. What an absolutely incredible game. It slowed down at the start. As you said, it wasn't as breakneck as we saw in the previous day on the starting day of this lobby, and that makes sense, right? These teams went back. They were able to look at the VOD and say, hey, this is going too fast, or hey, this mistake here, we got to fix this. And so you can see that measured approach. But once we got to the mid game, once we got to the end game, it was all out, balls to the wall, and man, what an absolute, I'm excited for the rest of the games.
Yeah, it's going to be a good start. And even more importantly than that, for those of you who like the history of PNC, that brings Argentina back level with Brazil for the most chicken dinners in PNC history. And that alone between those two nations is a fight in and of itself.
I also just, man, I mean, this fight, we didn't really get to see what happened between them and Australia because they kind of ran Australia over. But what was truly incredible was the fact that China went from one team to another. They were able to get the double, wipe out Brazil, and get a good amount of points before they eventually did fall.
Yeah, and honestly, I think for some other teams, that's not the way they wanted their day to start. You know, Team UK, USA, Korea did manage to find a couple of kills, but Vietnam still extended that lead at the top. And I don't know if you just heard it through your headset, but I looked up in front of us. We've got a block of China fans, a block of Vietnam fans, and then the rest of the arena, apart from 2 tiny pockets of Norway and USA fans, are screaming on the home team.
Yeah, this is an absolutely incredible crowd. I wish you guys were here to experience this watching at home, but the love for the game here and the fans that have come out, it's truly special, and it's why we love this game so much.
I spoke earlier with some of the UK players about yesterday, and they said they know when Korea gets a circle because they can feel the stage shaking.
I think Shrimsy equated it to getting like hit by a grenade because it's so loud you can't hear anything else around you. But I mean, that's just how much they love their players here, man. It's great.
This is really good though. Like again, for Argentina, that was a brilliant start. And you know, you and I, we know these players really well. Capitan, he's so pumped to be here playing alongside one of his best friends in Emmy. It's really, really good for them. Let's have a look though at our top 4 from that game. Argentina, of course, 11 kills, 11 for China as well. But most importantly, Vietnam, 7 kills. They didn't get the win, but they're still picking up points.
They didn't get the win, but they still got 7 kills on top of getting placement points, right? Like they were in the top 4, and that is just so difficult. If you are in the chase, if you are, let's say, Korea or even China, who did very well this game, you need Vietnam to slow down. And so far, I mean, we say it's only been 1 game, but they're not slowing down because they've extended that lead even more, which makes it devastating for the teams that are trying to catch up. So Vietnam, if they can't be stopped, they might run away with it, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, I just looked at the utility usage from Argentina as well. Only 4 frags the whole game, but 14 stun grenades and 12 smokes, as Capitan will get man of the match for this side. You know something? Sat beside him watching some of the maps on day 1 when you were casting beside Paper. He was so locked in and excited. because, you know, he's got 2 lands back to back now. He is feeling so good. And look at those damage numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks for himself. And he held such a crucial angle on the north side of that circle against Thailand that pretty much won them that fight. So great job for them. Now looking at the match leaderboard for that match, we can see 21 total points. The side of Argentina, again, that's going to be a massive boon, setting them up the leaderboard. China, 13 points, and it basically came off of kills. It was all kills for them. We saw them fight Brazil again. Australia in the beginning, they were just relentless.
Yeah, only 1 point for Germany, USA, Australia, and Poland, which is not what they would have wanted, especially Germany playing that passive game and trying to get into the late game. But let's have a look at our overall leaderboard now. 95 points for Vietnam through 7 games. Korea, 21 points behind. But importantly for the Chinese fans, they have closed that gap to Korea now as well, as they're hunting down that 2nd spot.
Yeah, and we saw it with what happened to Poland. It was, again, the story of them getting in a fight with the Philippines, and that was all the way on the north side. That was a beautiful trap, by the way, set by the Philippines. They weren't able to get knocks, and then you saw them just start going for tires, and I absolutely love that, and they were able to corner them and recover. So, Philippines, if you're in this lobby, you just have to be very careful, because if they are in your vicinity, you know you're about to fight.
Yeah, we're getting ready now to jump into the 2nd game, and I am really pumped for this one. I wonder, will the tempo be a little bit quicker, a little bit slower, as we see some of the fan signs in the crowd? As I said, it is crazy how many Chinese fans have traveled to this venue as well. They're making themselves known, and as I said, they're right in front of us. Like, I look up,
Yeah.
I just see them.
You can see them, they're cheering on their favorite players, but I do want to go back to a point we brought up, and that's Germany. How long are they going to try to play this passive game? Because there's going to come a point where even if they do get to the end game, even if they accrue like maybe 10, 15 points in some of these games, making it there, it's not going to be enough, because the leaderboard is on the left side is vastly climbing far beyond what you can get playing more passively.
And we see teams trying to up the aggression. They're like, again, Chinese Taipei, we were talking about them in the survival stage, one of the most passive teams. They know how to get into the top 8.
Yes.
You know, they're not going to get 10 kills. They get like 4th place, 1 or 2 kills, and they pick up points that way. But they're playing with more aggression over the course of the stage, and I like it. You know, it's Leo's farewell tour. Let's get something going for him.
Get in there, get involved, you know, just get in the mix, and that's exactly what they did. And they took we didn't see much of it, but they got rid of USA so quickly there while we were watching the fight between Korea and Vietnam.
Yeah, well, Leo got rid of USA, really. He was the
Yeah,
one
it was just Leo. It wasn't even Chinese Taipei. It was just Leo.
Let's get ready, though, for Miramar for the 2nd time today. We're jumping in. This will be the last time we see the desert. Which team can take advantage of this desert and dusty terrain to try really leapfrog their way up that leaderboard here on day 2 of PNC. Minas Generales obviously got a little bit of an update now. Some teams love playing on top of that Hollywood sign overlooking the rest of the lobby. But this flight path, you've not quite seen it at home just yet, but I think it's a little bit more friendly for most of the drop spots than what we had in game number 1, but not too much.
Yeah, the plane is much more central now. The teams don't have to stretch as far south if they, you know, happen to loot those areas like we mentioned. Chuma or anywhere like around Monte is much more accessible. You can see Indonesia currently flying there, and then Argentina as well will be comfortable in their loot spot as they've already dropped out of the plane.
Yeah, and Emmy, of course, one of the stars that last game, but let's not take anything away. That C4 play, getting rid of Vietnam.
Draft, the hero.
They don't win that game if they don't make that play.
No, because they can't viably get to Vietnam without not only getting shredded by Vietnam, but also just getting shredded by the team of Thailand. And that C4 is that the pressure that it put on the players from Vietnam to get out is what was able to get them that much closer to winning that game.
Yeah, so moving into this one, all the teams are now out of the plane. Germany once more extending their drop to Puerto Paraiso. No real shoots of a hot drop at this point, but Australia, they're near the center of the flight path. They always like to take this power grid drop. And we're going to go to the very opposite side. So we're going west this time. Indonesia, center of the circle. And this is a topic that I love talking about. Some teams drop places like that because they want to play from the outside in. What do they do when they get this?
Well, it goes back to the conversation we were talking about in the previous game. When you're that team that's gifted center circle in the first phase, sometimes that can be more of a curse than a blessing, as we are about to head to yet another wonderful interview.
สวัสดีครับผมฟุกกี้ภัสกรกิจฉลองครับมาจากทีมชาติไทยครับรู้สึก ภูมิใจแล้วครับที่ได้กลับมารับใช้ชาติอีกครั้งครับเป็นทีมชาติครั้งที่2ของผมนะครับ PNC ปีที่แล้วมีจุดพลาดหลายจุดครับมันมีสิ่งที่เราทำได้ดีกว่านี้ครับปีนี้เราฝึกฝนที่จะทำแผนวิธีการเล่นให้ดีกว่าปีที่แล้วครับเพื่อที่จะคว้าแชมป์ในปีนี้ครับก็พวกเราได้ทำการบ้านเรื่องวิธีการเล่นของทีมเกาหลีครับเราก็พร้อมรับมือแน่นอนครับปีนี้อยากจะไปให้สูงกว่านี้ครับพวกผมจะพยายามเอาแชมป์มาฝากนะครับ
Big words from Fluky there, but I got a bit distracted at the amount of times he tried to reload that Dragonov during the case of that interview. It just got me going a little bit. But yeah, Thailand, they got into the top 2 there with a, I think they'll be disappointed they lost that game, but when they look back, they'll have to give credit to how bold Argentina were when they got that win. But we were speaking about Indonesia before it. I just want to make that point where sometimes when a team like that gets center circle, they spend too much time looting. We've got loads of time. Really, the best teams in the world, when they get center circle, they still do their 1 or 2 minute loot phase, and then they are out of there. They go, this is the compound we want. This is the 2-2 positions that we want to play in. In particular as well, I want to talk about Argentina to the south. They have a great spot in the zone, and they've got their pick of these 2 mountains on either side of the valley, from Valle del Mar to Monte Nuevo.
Yeah, but this is where the difficulty in that decision-making comes in. If you choose the wrong ridge there on that valley, again, it's very similar to the Death Valley we talked about there just to the west of Azahar. Crossing to the other side is almost impossible. So that's why these difficulties, especially on the west coast, because we can see so much of this playable area is actually it's just unplayable grounds. So that's just more of the circle that's cut off, on top of the fact that you might have to make a decision on which side of the valley to play.
And even more importantly than just the fact that it's unplayable, it's unenterable. So realistically, there's only 75% of the circle that teams can enter into. So if you're one of the teams that take a position to the extreme west, you only have to focus then inwards. You know nobody's going to come from or behind your position, which means that if you like playing the edge, you like being aggressive, it's really good for you. While that was going on though, we did see Germany get up into the sky. I think that's when they're at their best. Get Brax up through the sky, scout ahead. And we spoke about it yesterday with Paper. They play it a little bit differently than other teams. Some teams use it to scout positions and try get in. I feel like Germany use it more to play the edge and look for isolated players that they can get free points and free kills off of.
Yeah, and they tend to do very well with that strategy. Again, they do like to play, like you said, cautious. They don't run straight into a fight, whether it's in the center of the circle. They are always going to be lurking around, and as you said, using that glider to find the players or find isolated positions, maybe of a split, in order to punish and get those points.
Vietnam rotating in as well. I wonder if they're tempted to stay in and around the hills south of Chuma to use that recall system, but I think for them, they're going to look more so to the ridge line below and maybe work their way up. Argentina, we spoke about the decision of picking making sure you pick the correct leaderboard or the correct ridge line. They've gone for both. They've gone for that 2-2 split. As we look what Vietnam are talking about, I love this addition to the game, being able to see what they're pinging, what they're identifying. You can see they're like choosing between 2 compounds right now on both of those ridges.
Yep, and those are both arguably some of the strongest compounds in this current circle. I love the pathing that they're taking. You can see that as well. They're marking everything. This is just very good fundamental PUBG that they're playing in their macro.
And that's all they got to do. When you've got a lead that's this good, you just keep the fundamentals right. Don't overextend yourself. Don't play too aggressive. And you can just keep that gap and gap at the top.
But that's what I love about them, is even with the lead, they don't slow down. They still play their game. I mean, how many times have we seen? Unfortunately, we saw it in the Survivor stage. Oh, hold on, we'll get to that point in a second. As CJ is gonna, what do you know? It's the Philippines and Poland as as old as time.
They both went out for food in the same restaurant. Maybe someone said something as tantrum.
Oh my goodness!
Look at how quickly he deleted Marsalek. That was in the blink of an eye. Now, there's one thing for Poland, right, that they tend to do, and I really hope they don't do it. Sometimes they're guilty of trying too hard to get the blue chip back and trying too hard to get Marsalek back in the fight. If I'm Philippines and I know that, I'm going to stay in this position and I'm going to wait, because Poland will probably think about going back at some point to try to get Marsalek back.
That's fair. I mean, at this point, though, Poland, they kind of have to. They need more than 2 players here. They need to have a big impact on every one of these games. Their time to catch up is slowly running out. They still have of course, today and tomorrow, but every time they run into the Philippines, every time they lose 1 or 2 members, that's less points they're going to be getting later in the mid to late game.
Funny, I spoke to Marsalek after the day yesterday, and he was delighted because I was, you know, you're really, really happy. Why? Because I know tomorrow can't be worse. You know?
Well, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it's started real poor so far for the Polish boys, and I hope they can pull back. But they do still have 2 members alive, so we'll see what they do. Korea, meanwhile, is rotating very far on the south side of the circle, and just above them is actually going to be the UK, and then just to the west of them, the team we were talking about, Germany's waiting.
Yeah, I'm worried that Korea might think that this rotate down through Drumstick Island could be available to them. Germany have set up, and with Brax, this could be dangerous.
Why would you expect a full team to still be there? That's the thing. That's what would really catch Korea off guard here.
Yeah, because you look at it, you're thinking that this section of the map by Valle del Mar is going to have teams in it, so you go, oh, well, maybe we'll go. But thankfully, I think the fans watching the same would be glad to see that Korea have elected not to make that crossing. Although it looks like they're scouting it out just a little bit. Oh, no, Seoul just flipped his vehicle.
Hey, it happens to the best of us. The Murado on Miramar, the terrain with how long and low that vehicle is, that's a common sight. So it happens, see, it happens to everyone. So if it just happened to you in your pub game, don't worry. Seoul, he's one of the best players in the world. He just did it.
I love it, right? When that vehicle was to me, I was like, right, we're going to make the fastest car in the game.
At the time, yeah, it was the fastest car.
That loves to flip if you turn quickly or go on bad terrain. And we're going to put it on the bumpiest map.
Yeah, we're going to put it on Miramar. Oh, goodness.
Imagine what this thing would be like on Erangel. It'd be a ton of fun. But Germany, they've set up that bridge camp. I think Mika, he'll have a look to make sure nobody's on the other side. We have the benefit of knowing it's completely safe as you make your way over. And at this point, Germany and Korea are the only teams that aren't inside the circle.
Yeah, and you can see now Germany, though, they do have that bridge. And I imagine they're going to see Korea rotating past them on the east. Especially with the position they've held, and they've opted to not even go into. They're still scouting it. They still think that someone might be in Valle del Mar.
Yeah, and look, you know they're hyper cautious. This is the way that they play. So at some point they'll go over. Our observer is saying, hey, you know, they could zip line across. Don't. Anytime I've ever gotten a zip line, I've died. It's instant death.
It's so much slower than you would think it would be when you actually use it. Yeah.
But look at this. Denmark are trying to time the C pickup perfectly with the zone closing, right? They're over by Power Grid. They're thinking this circle's going to be packed. There's so much unplayable ground to the west. Our safest bet might be the E pickup. So watch for the zone popping, because if it shifts towards them, they're going to stay put. But if it goes away, they're taken to the skies.
You can see the circle. What is it going to do? What funkiness will we see? And it's going to be all the way down south. And Korea, the team that was rotating in outside of the circle now, could be arguably the biggest beneficiaries of this shift.
And Korea have sent, I think, nobody's taken the E-pickup. They think that driving down by Picado is their best way into the circle. Brax now with that shift is going to take to the sky once more to see where Germany can play. But look at the rat race now. Poland, Germany, Korea, and you've got Philippines, Thailand, Denmark, all moving as quick as they possibly can to get inside this circle. And it's just a smorgasbord of color in there, and something's got to give in this circle.
Yeah, not all these teams or players are going to be able to occupy all that space. Argentina, from their high ground, dictating as many rotations as they can away from them as quickly as they possibly can to make sure that they don't get crashed. Meanwhile, you can see the UK here with a pretty wide but very nice spread on the east side, and this is actually a lot of control just below Chumasera.
Yeah, and you can see now that they're looking towards Korea. Algin bots as Philippines and Paul Cafe. No! Oh my goodness!
Poor Poland.
I want to see his POV of this one, because this is just cruel as Algin bots picks up. And Cappy, he knows he's dead there.
Philippines
he knows the second that car starts flipping,
truly
there's nothing he can do.
bullying Poland.
Just the absolute just state of Poland right now, and what they're having to deal with.
One last guy.
Now. The last one alive with nowhere to go, stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Surely he's not long for this world.
Poland were driving north. Were they going for Marsalek's blue tag?
I think they were trying. Yep, I think they wanted those chips.
And Philippines know it. Remember what I said from the VOD review?
You're not wrong. You called it.
They stayed in that position because they knew this was going to happen. Poland have been eliminated now. Marsalek was saying things couldn't get worse. Well, 1 point after 2 games. They'll definitely need to turn things around. But Philippines, again, just so good at winning fights. Now, their biggest problem's been third parties. Like, they find themselves on the wrong side. But look at the pocket of space now that they're rotating into.
Yeah, they have a lot of space to work with on the west side. Now, again, they are going to have to, at some point, cross that ravine or valley. But for the time being, they're in a good position to at least scout ahead and see what they want to do. They actually might run into one of the members of Germany. Breaks has actually moved. Oh, no, he's flying.
Yeah.
He's fine.
He's just going around telling the team, you know, we got players here.
Yep.
This compound's free. You could have a team rotating from this section of the map. This is just Ascend 101, right? This is what the players from this team do. He's going to seat swap from time to time, maybe put some pressure onto some teams below and catch out their rotate. But I'm looking at Zerath. He's creeping up the hill to Vietnam, which is usually, usually it's Delwyn that is creeping up the hill to someone else. But Cal from the Philippines, he spots out Thailand. And I think that maybe, just me, this is the section map, right? Kiss can pull in here. Think about what his next step is. He's done them. Look, he's done them. 2 players from Philippines got off on foot, expecting him to go around that side. And he's 180, and he's going to go way back up to the rest of the team to the north.
Yeah, the rest of his team not close enough, though, unfortunately, to get anything off this, maybe find a knock or two. But again, the way that Germany just took so much space because of the information that they have is just fantastic. Mike is going to find Zulolzi, but the trade will come from Himas.
And that knock is so big for Vietnam. It allows them to safely go for the Reds because they know Germany are going to do the exact same. And that is why Vietnam are so good. Now, the circle shifted, and it's gone in favor of Brazil, Denmark, Korea, and the UK. Now, Gustav, he's going to join the rest of his team. But watch for Denmark cresting the hill directly towards where that Brazil split is being held.
And we also have 2 pickups actually coming in. It's going to be Australia and China that we're able to find pickups, so they'll be flying into the circle, I would imagine, somewhere to the southeast of Chumasera. It's a large city, can accommodate at least a couple teams, as we can see Germany now backing off of this fight.
Yeah, that knock. That's what I mean. You get, like, if they didn't get, Vietnam didn't get that second or that knock onto Germany.
The trade, yeah.
It's a completely different story at that point. Australia, they're going to be the very, very last point they can get off that pickup. They're going to. And have they spotted a vehicle? Is there or are they just going to go in and foot? Yeah, I think this combo is just about inside.
Yeah, they're going south, but the problem now is Brazil can see that. And Brazil is just going to try to gatekeep them on the south side. That is a very difficult uphill battle to fight when you are Australia in that position currently, especially when you're just barely in. And then you also have Germany on your west side. Yeah, this is going to be a battle for Australia for sure.
Yeah, the only thing that could work in Australia's favor is if Brazil and taking the Teddy. He'll get that knock on the Capitan, and that's Argentina losing 1 on the rotates. But back on that point, like, if Brazil and Australia get into a long fight, Denmark are 100% going to get involved in that one to clear their southern border.
And probably, it's possible Germany, well, actually, no, not Germany. They're set in their way, but look at, so China has opted to go for Chumasera, but look at all the tracers. The entire server is shooting at China, and BB will find a little ghost. Ming Ming very low as well.
Oh, he's going to get there.
Oh, just barely.
He gets
inside,
but China, look, Leo is just going insane again, this time with a P90 in his hands as his farewell tour is looking like a fun trick. He gets the nade out, but Mao Rush will get that knock onto him. And Chinese Taipei, they're up to 2 kills now, and Simoy too far away to do anything. And Chinese Taipei pick up another couple of kills on the edge of the circle as Vietnam extend their way to the northern side of the circle.
Yeah, and they're just sending it dead center. They found the gap in between USA split, and they're actually going to make it just to the warehouse right next to Norway, which is prime real estate right now. So what a crazy good rotation from Vietnam. And there was no way for them to really know what's going on over there. You can see they're still trying to find position, as we now see Zerath is going to get entangled with the Philippines. The trade goes back and forth.
Yeah, Philippines just flexing again, but Germany managed to find that trade as I think Brazil stole that kill away. Looking over in this distance, Mikael will look to pick up Algen bots as they get 10-trip will fall. Yeah, and Korea get that circle shift once more. And there's a lot of teams in brilliant compounds, but the problem is there's so many teams alive on the edge of the circle that they're going to get so much pressure coming their way. Look at Brazil, look at UK and China. All these teams are in heavy traffic sections of the circle, and normally you don't get into situations like this.
No, not at all. And you can actually even see USA is just like, you know what, we're getting off the edge. They actually had Purdy Curdy go up and find a forward position in this one shack, and they're going to send it there. Now, they will be okay for now, but it's the issue is the UK above them. It's a huge threat and a big stopping point for them to even get to that position. Alo might fall, but no, Kurt's going to shoot him off.
Yeah, that's a great shot from Kurt. It's not a knock, but the shot puts the UK back into cover. It takes the attention away from Alo, and it allows you to pick him up and get it. Like, you don't always need to get a knock or a kill to buy your team a massive favor, as CJ is now moving up towards Germany. The nade's going to get thrown, but Sparking from Brazil with a great off angle will find that knock. Chinese Taipei, Leo again, and it's Delwyn this time.
I love the way that they are playing this edge. They are taking their time, and they are finding the most inopportune moments for the other teams rotating away from them to strike. And so far today, you can tell that they have a strategy, and they are enacting it beautifully. This is the second game in a row they've been able to do this.
So much better from Chinese Taipei, especially from an entertainment factor, as Seoul will tag Tanvu's Vietnam now really struggling inside the circle. Mao Rush will get his kill confirmed, but we have, you know, Korea, USA, Vietnam, UK, all not too far away as Monte with a big nade as they look to breach onto Brazil.
Okay, and this is the fight we were worried about for Australia. They managed to actually make it all the way up this hill. Impressive to say the least. James will find a member of Taipei. It's going to be Mao Rush. He's going to get that confirmation as well, but back to the fight. Brazil with only 3 members left. You can see Australia playing for trades on the right side of this compound, and Brazil have retreated.
Yeah, 3 players up with no real opportunity to get back to a 4. And Australia, led by Tig, who is IGLing, will look to secure this compound. On the other side of the circle, James gets a great knock onto Xavier as Poston just smokes his way back towards Sparking. And look at Calbs from Philippines, last player standing, but realizing that might be able to pick up a point. Maybe this is the best way with 15 teams alive for the Philippines to maximize their point tally here.
And that's what you just said is the crazy part. 15 teams still alive in this circle, in this phase. And you can just see how bunched they are. Everyone is just clumped on these edges. It's so difficult to play the center here, which is why everyone is just vying for what control there is on the edge.
X left, wrapping around. Thailand looking to take the ground as we also see Thailand is firing towards Rossiter Jr. as he makes his way inside the circle. Korea with another big shift as Philippines will get eliminated. Santa able to spot him out, but now all these teams on the south need to work their way in. I love this clip, this scene. You've got UK, Vietnam, USA, Argentina, and Korea all in that one frame, and none of them can really do anything about any of the other teams because of that terrain.
And this is the other thing, Vietnam, whenever they do lose a member or two, they're able to find these just really awkward spots, like right below UK that's on a road that's on the face of a cliff that just can't be shot by from anywhere else. They're so good at salvaging the games, finding spots where they can be protected by other teams.
Yeah, T-Bone got that kill, but now Brazil, Sparking is going to fall as Australia looking really good in this fight with Brazil. Luke will drop down to 47 HP now. Stand up on top of the roof, will tag flood, but only 18 damage is there to be found. On the other side of the circle, Ketter from Denmark. He's putting the pressure on, and Jacob will fall at the hands of Vexen. It's a race to steal that point, but Vex will get another point from Team UK, currently sat in 13th place. But look at how much more coordinated and clean this is from Australia. We didn't see this at all yesterday.
No, we did not, and the problem though for this is it's taking too long to get rid of this last member of Brazil. You can see Dofi from Denmark. In fact, Denmark's position is fantastic the way they play this edge. They were kind of looking to see if they could third party this fight, but finally Australia has gotten rid of Brazil, which means that they can start to make their trek up towards the circle.
Yeah, and the next shift I think is going to be vital for the circle with the stepstones the way they are. Germany pushing up now towards Korea as Seoul gets within throwable distance, and he's been so good. But China, Teddy and Trick, he is so damn, as I said yesterday, he just keeps putting people to bed with how good he is, and he switched over to the micro Uzi as well, knowing what urban warfare is. And here comes James as he misses the Panzer, and Trick makes them pay.
Trick already came out to make sure he pushed that angle before they could get comfortable with the fight. Intense now, going for it, but no, they're split. The angles are so good to stop this push.
Setsuna will get the gas can explosion.
Oh, the nade! The nade!
Boom! Perfect nade there, as that is going to be the end of Norway on this map. 9 teams left alive now as Australia push into the circle. And this is mental, because again, Argentina in no rush to move. USA, they're not leaving the ridge. Vietnam are not going anywhere. UK aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So really, Denmark and Australia is the most likely natural fight to happen next, unless the circle does something crazy. If this goes south and Argentina, USA, Vietnam, UK are somewhat displaced, this could be curtains.
Yeah, the big issue as well, you can see why there's so much space in between. It's so open. There's not much cover there. And more importantly, the UK actually have devastating sight lines, and what a circle for them as this shift will favor their ridgeline. And you can see the amount of control that they have.
This is a really good opportunity for Team UK to kickstart their grand finals weekend. Australia, 4 kills on the board for them. On the south side of the circle, they seem to have a pretty good idea that Denmark are not too far away. I think Germany's natural push is in towards Korea, but it's really hard, especially when you're on the low ground. You can see that Mika's got a bunch of nades that he can use, but he's just creeping and crawling. Korea it's Salute. Salute's the player that has to be the first warning bell for Korea if Germany push up over.
And what I will say is Salute has been phenomenal for Korea. His sprays, I mean, we saw it with the barrel. He was just deleting people in that last game. We'll see if he can actually get something more off this against Germany. And I'm sure with that off-angle position, he probably can actually. Chris is starting to push up here. You can see the utility coming out. But this off-angle from Salute is just so damn strong.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the angle on them just yet. That nade, it blows up the door, which means that Sol, when he peeks, he'll not have the ability to bait some shots away with the barrel of his gun. But here's the push. Shrimzy looking to repel Argentina on the other side of the circle, off the back of their last win. Australia making a send into this direction as well, as we got 3 teams dancing on the southwest of the circle. Vex gets some damage on as well, but Chris gets the knock on the Salute. Your safety blanket is gone.
That was supposed to be their anchor, their safety, as you said. And now the 3 just sitting in the compound have to kind of just hunker down. There's really, I say that, and of course, Raining is going to go out looking for more. This is a risky situation here for Korea.
Yeah, Vietnam just staying out of trouble while all this is going on. They're on 96 points as they enter the placements now. Gumin with the nade, one thrown his way, chases that nade, but the molly will force him back a little bit more, but it also reduces the angles that Brexco can push from. Raining stepping out, taking the fight. Australia really locked in on what's going to happen between these 2 teams. And yeah, Gumin gets the angle, but somehow won't find the knock. But the extra cover is here. Here's the rest of the team. Gumin will wipe out Germany, and Australia are really disappointed that Germany couldn't get more knocks, which means that they have to be slower in this fight.
You can see how difficult it was for Korea to even spread out and finally, or break out of their compound and get those kills, but well done to them. Also, I want to point out, the UK, 12 kills. They absolutely cleaned up Indonesia while we were watching that fight with Korea and Germany. So just utilizing their position and making sure they get every single inch out of that is what's been so impressive about the UK right now.
Yeah, Kick doing some damage on defects as the UK really do hold the high ground within this circle. And that shift just goes towards UK once more. And Korea now need to run the gauntlet. But look at USA, Vietnam picking up a quick double knock and flush. And Shrimzy will find him ass. But that is not what the USA thought at all. They didn't expect them to be there. And well, I think that USA, they're going to have to do magic now with Shrimzy and Kickstart, as the Falcons duo will need to maximize points for the US as they push up, and the UK just ain't making things any easier for them.
And those nades, I mean, they're not even getting close to where they need to be, unfortunately, and it's just USA trying to fight back. If they can get on that road, they do have some sort of a reprieve of cover. You can see the nades that Kickstart was trying to throw, trying to get rid of Argentina, but he just can't. He can't move out because the pressure from up top is too great.
Yeah, now Shrimzy's going to go for that quick res as Australia begin pushing this way as well. Tanvu still alive for Vietnam, but look at Denmark wrapping up towards T-Bone.
Yeah, Denmark with an opportunity here to backstab the current game dominators, and that is the UK up top of this hill. They did open this up with a knock, so now this is also going to be an opportunity for the teams below them to maybe get up, to maybe start to move up that road. You can see Korea now, the duo of Seoul and Raining, holding out what's remaining of Australia.
The momentum is just swinging back and forward as Australia move towards Korea now. You can see that Luke 12's got an angle. Gustav, though, holds back Tig. Tig, you're in a really dangerous spot now as Tanvu. Vietnam get another knock and a flush. He will. Tanvu stays with Korea, and the Vietnamese fans go wild as you can hear a pin drop inside the venue now. Kick's going to get knocked once more as Vex has got a smoke in his hand. Not sure how much good that'll do, because they got to worry about Denmark. But Doffy has moved back. Denmark now bringing the fight to Monty and Luke 12.
How is Vietnam just getting away with this game after game? The salvages are just absolutely incredible from every single member. And the nade! He gets them again!
Oh
More
my.
points for Vietnam!
And it might not be done yet. Tiggleton is pushing this way. Is another player going to fall at the hands of Vietnam? Tanvu with a smoke. He's got the angle. He gets another one. He deals even more damage and he gets another kill. It's 4 for Tanvu. And Tiggleton is the next target. Tig is in the blue. Tanvu will swing wide.
Oh!
Another. It's 5 for Tanvu. And Vietnam, I said it's a marathon, not a sprint, but they're sprinting the whole damn thing.
It doesn't even matter what happens to Tanvu at this point. The damage has been done. The points have been acquired. The kills. He did that with a sawed-off, just disgusting display of skill and resilience from Tanvu.
Oh my, Denmark now. Beamy beams Michael from afar. They're up to 3 kills. They want to climb the gap. They can catch Thailand with a couple more points on the board. Ribo for Argentina. He's going to surely Tanvu doesn't get Ribo as well.
He's going to get him as well. I feel it. Tanvu can't be stopped, and this is the last kill he needs to just send himself off into the sunset. Feeling good about the work he's done in this game, but it's not done as far as work. The UK now fighting, looking on the other side of the barrels here of Denmark.
I love this from Denmark. They're just sprinting at them, going for a Keter with another one. Beamy wipes out Vex, and UK 14 kills.
Of course he does!
Yeah, he's just him. He's decided he's the main character. He's winning PNC. Although there's a lot to play, but oh my, what a start to day 2 for Tanvu and Vietnam. Denmark are going to, he's going to go to the blue. There's nothing he can do. But what a salvage game that was. Beamy's going to try and get the kill to Superman. He does it! Beamy through the sky wipes out Tanvu.
What an absolutely insane game. What a legendary solo play from Tanvu, the likes of which we may not see for a while. But man, congratulations to Denmark. They needed this win. They needed those points. They were so methodical on the east side of the circle. They wrapped down to the south. They were able to find those kills. And then when the opportunity struck, they were able to open up the knock on UK and take over their hill. What a game from them.
And if they want to make a push to get into that top 4 and maybe even close that gap to the 2 teams at the top, they need to keep playing like that.
Yes.
That was excellent from them. I feel like they've grown into the game. But Tanvu is phenomenal at the game. And honestly, the fact that one of the TT wipe was Korea too, those kills are worth their weight in gold.
Korea as well as Australia. You want to talk about Argentina? Who didn't he wipe at this point? I mean, just unreal. In this game, I mean, it was really off the rails from the start just because of how little space there was to play. We saw the Philippines and Poland once again, shocker to absolutely nobody. And it was just, yeah, it was wild. And then Norway, they pushed in, they tried to get rid of Indonesia, but Teddy is just a demon in the server.
Yeah, gotta give a lot of credit to Team UK as well for the decision to take those hills by Chima. You know, they were on their point tally going into that one was in the 20s. I think that looking at this, they were actually on 18 points going into this map. They got 14 from kills alone.
Yeah.
They essentially doubled their point tally in that game.
Yep, they're going to be close to 9th, even 8th place. We'll see. Indonesia, though, did get some points. And then, again, the sawed-off here, just with the damage done from the blue to get Tig, was just chef's kisses. Yeah, Denmark's push was picture perfect. They picked their spot, and they absolutely executed flawlessly.
Look at this. That's great.
That was sick.
As well. You got to maximize your points, too. And it was worth the risk. You know, for Beamy, it's like, we're going to win this game. Let's try get that one extra point because we know he's going to deny if he lets the blue go.
Right. So, yeah, that was a well-played match from Denmark. An even greater play from the individual Tanvu, but man, so far PNC has delivered. The finals have delivered, and you can see the fans here from Vietnam supporting their team, and I'm sure that gives them a lot of help as well.
It's the best Vietnam have ever looked. Like it
really is.
They're looking so good. Obviously, UK with those 14 kills and a bunch of points as well has them top of the overall point tally from that game. Good game from Australia as well. Only 5 kills. They had a great wipe of Brazil. However, Tanvu just Tanvu'd all over them and didn't really give them much to do. And Vietnam, like, the best teams always find a way. Yeah. And with 1 player left, with 2 players left after they got pushed by Chinese Taipei, nobody would have seen them get that amount of points.
We saw the same thing in the last game when they were able to get to that shack that we saw C4 by DraftKings. I mean, the fact that they got in that position in the first place was kind of crazy, right? So they just refuse to die, but another man that refuses to die is our man of the match. It is going to be Beanie, the flying Og, I believe it was, to get that kill. 642 damage. Again, Denmark just had so much control on the southeast, and they made damn sure that no one else was going to be able to encroach on their position.
And they made no mistakes. Like,
they really did.
You saw them think about pushing some fights, and they didn't. They fell back. They were like, does this fight help us win the game? No. Play on. Here's our match leaderboard, though. UK, they picked up 19 points, 17 for Denmark, 13 for Vietnam, and Korea once more only 4 points.
Yeah, Korea did not. I mean, they had a somewhat tough road. They got a few shifts early, sure, but then they had to go through multiple teams, one of those being Australia. Then they had to deal with the Germany thing, and then Brazil, I think, at some point was even shooting at them when they were trying to poke out. So it was a lot, but even still, I mean, they were able to get 4 points. It's better than 0.
Yeah, and let's have a look at the total leaderboard as we have a quick look. Vietnam, 108 points, 78 for Korea, China on 65, and Denmark now 1 point off over the top 3. USA for the fans at home in Argentina from PAS, pretty far off the pace now at 52 and 48 points. But it's PUBG, 1 or 2 games can change the whole look of a leaderboard.
I mean, we've seen wilder swings, so it's not out of the realm of possibility, but the way that Vietnam is playing right now, it seems as though they are not slowing down, and it's really the onus is on the lobby to get rid of this team so that everyone else can have some room to breathe.
Yeah, some room to breathe for those teams, but that does bring an end to Miramar for the day. It'll be coming up to Tego right after this commercial break.
Fueled by the same passion as esports athletes, Zowie continuously develops tailored products, empowering gamers to bring their best out. Today, we are launching the all-new XL2566X Plus, which uses the newly developed Fast TN panel and upgraded Diac 2 technology. The new monitor series continue to evolve, refining details to ensure players can perform their best consistently in games.
Dominate with speed. Octopus 8K HE. Scanning every key at the speed of light. Customize every key and setting to build a perfect keyboard for your play. Superior keystroke feel. Experience speed like never before. Octopus 8K HE. Azra.
Smooth and original, straight from the underground. Listen to the real funk. Hold on. Watch out, the furious. Better be focused. Listen to the real funk.
And it goes a little something like this. It goes on and on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on. Listen to the real funk.
혹시 모델업팅 좀
Smooth and original, straight from the underground.
Welcome back. We are 2 games down here, day 2 of the finals at PUBG Nations Cup 2025. And what a wild 2 games it's already been, Gibson.
It has been crazy, particularly if you are a Vietnam fan. But it's pretty much the trend that we had yesterday. Vietnam continuing to extend that gap over the first 2 games of the day. However, this is where things started to slow down for them. And more importantly, this is the final game of the first half of the whole weekend. Once this map is done, it is essentially the second half.
Yeah, and we are heading now into Taego. Taego was just a barn burner yesterday. Again, I expect it to slow down today, especially with what we've seen with the beginning stages of Miramar today. I imagine Taego would be no different, and probably the same for Rondo and Erangel as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one to keep an eye on. I know for a lot of the teams, though, I hope it's going to be, that basketball could have thought they had us in the first half. I'm not going to lie. Really got to go and try to bring your A game for the rest of this event. But Taego is a map that we saw some crazy. This is essentially, I believe, where we saw the start of the Australia, UK, Brazil madness.
Yeah,
around
terminal, yeah.
Exactly. I really hope that doesn't happen because I want all 3 of these teams to show us the very best foot forward. They need to try to avoid each other. And a flight path like this, it's another player-friendly one because it means everybody can essentially get to their drop spot. However, we saw the Palace hot drop between USA and the Philippines yesterday with Thailand backfilling and third partying. I wonder, are any of those teams going to... It looks like Thailand are off early, but do you think USA and Philippines are going to run it back?
I wonder if it's worth it to the USA. That's the thing, right? We did see that fight initially in Palace. It didn't really work out. It looks like USA have already out the plane, and so I'm not convinced, no.
Yeah, USA, they're going to go towards a little bit further towards the other side. And I think had USA been on 60, 70 points,
they probably would have gone to Palace.
They go for that hot drop. But they're thinking to themselves, it's not in our best interest to go ahead and try to continue that. We're not going to cut off our own nose to spite our face, right?
Right.
As Brazil will drop nearby Norway. Norway will pick up some of the hard spawn vehicles. You'll see Brazil try to get a knock or two on those players as they leave. But at this point, all teams are off the plane. UK, though, they've gone for that really late drop up towards the south side of Shipyard.
Yep, and as you can see, Norway wants absolutely nothing to do with Brazil. They just want to steal their vehicles, and this circle is going to be fairly even for most of the teams involved.
Yeah, and a lot of people would look at this, right, and say, oh, this is bad for UK, they're the furthest team away. In fact, it's not. They can rotate all the way down the eastern side of the circle and come in around Ohyang, or even if they want to go further south towards Hospital. So even though the UK don't have the zone, it's a really good circle for them, and they should be guaranteed a 100% safe rotate into the circle. Don't be surprised to see Germany maybe follow the same track and go all the way around that east, because as of right now, you know for sure it's going to be safe. And look how quickly USA have made a move to get into the circle on that side as well.
Love that from the USA, and I completely agree. Your assessment of the East is going to be, again, most likely what the UK as well as Germany is going to take. Also just based on the play path, right? Not a lot of teams are able to stretch that far. None of the teams really do stretch that far to loot anyways. And so that area around Ohyang, I, again, imagine is going to be where a lot of these teams end up coming in from, or just the south itself.
Yeah, other things to keep an eye on. Obviously, we had Brazil, UK, and Australia get into locked into that. Oh, here we go. Marsalek's caught out, maybe potentially by intent. This is a 1 versus 1. Marsalek with the M249. Having a look at the map, the rest of Poland are now on their way here. Pufax, Matchers, and Kapi are coming. And really, for Norway, you needed to get that knock quick. You didn't want to give the rest of the team chance to get here. And you can see Norway are trying to back off now. He's looking to get in his vehicle. He wants to get out of dodge before reinforcements get here.
Well, Sparking is going to try to get rid of 8C, but it looks like he might just make it past. One of the tires is out. Hold on a second. Is he going to spin? It might be safety for him, and it looks like he will get away. Something else that I noticed that I'm very actually happy about is that the Poland has not run into the Philippines.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. There's still a chance. Wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being Indonesia they bump into their other colleagues, but Intent has stayed here.
Oh, 8C.
Oh, he should be done. He should be done. Himon gets knocked by Sparking as the South American, the LATAM teams are dealing with him. Little Ghost actually stealing that kill away as China get the first kill, but Emmy will find 8C. And for Norway, who were stars of the survival series, it's just not going the way they would want in the grand finals.
No, not at all, as Kapi is going to find Intens, and so Norway is just getting picked apart, but not only the two South American teams, but also by Poland. You can see James just quietly coasting in.
Yeah, he's just going to wait, maybe see what happens later on in the game, maybe try to get those blue chips back and bring his teammates back into play. China, they're going to rotate not too far away from Sparking, but Xiao Wu will just keep the terrain in his favor.
He's fine. It'll flip. Nope, I lied.
It did flip. It just didn't flip back.
It just didn't flip back, yeah. And something actually I was just thinking about as we were both talking about Norway and Norway and James getting his team members up. I agreed with you until I just realized where their chips actually are. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that.
That's a fair point. I think one of them are out in the open, one of them's in a compound that Poland are going to hold, and realistically, it would take an extreme shift for that Poland compound to not be in the next zone, so that's a fair point.
This might just be a James show.
Yeah, he's done it before.
He has.
Argentina, though, look how close they've gotten to Vietnam. And Himas usually doesn't miss those, so that's really good for Argentina, but Ribo's not out of safety just yet.
And man, what heroes Argentina would be to this lobby if they can get rid of Vietnam quickly here. Or not even really quickly, just get rid of Vietnam at all.
Yeah, there'll be a big shout from the crowd if Vietnam are dealt with. But I don't think Vietnam, especially with Delwyn, getting into this flank, he sees him, he knows exact. Look at this, Argentina are like, they're like, we've been in this situation before, we're gonna smoke it out. Delwyn, one more shot, we'll get it. Ribo.
I can't believe he got out, but look at his draft. We'll find Himas, but the trade immediately from Solozli, and Ribo is flushed out.
Yeah, and DraftKings gone. He's not, look, he's wrapping around. I don't know whether he wants to take this fight, but this is the thing, Hosan with a recall system, that's why Vietnam are playing there.
Yeah.
They can take this position. Had Himas been flushed, you just bring him back in a few minutes' time.
And I'm really curious here if Australia is actually trying to jog for position on Vietnam. Maybe they think that they can take them out and also not only get points for themselves, but maybe just kind of help the lobby and slow things down, but that's wishful thinking because of course Australia is not going to do that. I mean, that'd be a crazy play for them to go for. I just saw them rotating up towards there. They heard the fight with Argentina and maybe thought they could get something out of it, but no.
And Monty's just checking out the compound. The trick is in right now. Korea setting up somewhat of a late bridge camp here, as well as Denmark will send everybody through. But here comes that crash. They know the trick's alone, and they get the knockdown. Trick will get one from the grave, but Teddy is coming right on in. So that one knock, and now the rest of Indonesia to potentially get involved. Setsuna with a great knock on to Monty. Now he's look 12. Will throw a nade as a rebuttal, but Setsuna with one of his own. He comes under pressure from Luke's nade, and that's a great nade from Setsuna. And Argentina will flood is gone. Poland look like they've left their compound. They want a taste of what's going on right now, and Magsters is just going to delete Teddy.
What a shot from distance. That was disgusting. But even more disgusting is just the state of Australia. They just cannot catch a break.
They got the first knock. Had that nade from beyond the grave not got the knock, I'd say Australia would have been fine. But that just goes to show how things are in such a fine balance inside of a game of PUBG. Indonesia now, they're sharing, it looks like Poland, they got their point, I think, so they're going to fall back now. No need for them to fight with the rest of Indonesia as they get everybody back on their feet. But in doing so, that's opened up a ton of space on the west side of the circle now. Thailand, they've got a bunch of space they can play. UK, the position that UK are in right now, they're going to extend a little bit further north. I wouldn't be surprised if they stay within touching distance of the recall system just south of their position. And Brazil, they're the same. Like Brazil are playing right by that recall system near the center of the circle. But all in all, you're seeing places that teams maybe didn't necessarily always play in the past now get increased value because of those systems.
Yeah, especially if those systems happen to fall where not only is it in the circle, but it's advantageous for them to hold, which this is. So we'll see if Thailand is going to indeed do that. Now they have a large majority of actually space to play if they want to, as Purdy Curdy is going to rip off BL's helmet.
Yeah, now the question is, are USA close enough to push? Because BL has got Sparking coming in for cover. Oh yeah, this is good. I like this move. I like this move. In the past, this does... Is he doubling down?
What?
That is a lot of explosive power right there. He's sending two.
What the fuck?
Kick, you need more. Here's the thing, right? It takes, what, 4 or 5 seconds to place it? It takes 15 seconds total for it to explode. By him placing two, he reduced the time to get there to 7 seconds.
Yeah.
I think one would have been fine.
Well, one would have been more than enough, but I mean, a C4 just for one flush is... I mean, they don't know that there's no one else in that compound, which is fair, but yeah, the double was excessive, we'll say that.
Yeah. I think though for
I like the idea.
Yeah, and they didn't lose kick. They didn't lose anybody off the back of it, so it's kind of one of those situations where it's not the worst in the world. They're still going to do their due diligence to make sure that there's nobody else here. BL, he's not going to call for any help. He knows that his day's dusted. Brazil aren't going to give up a center's compound circle to try get their teammate back or go for that tag either. So, you know what? That's the way BL plays. I think he's a really good long-range player. He's great with his DMRs. You'll see him extend out a little bit, but not like a Delwyn where he's extending out to try find kills. He's more on a scouting standpoint. So when he dies, it tends to be in situations like that. But what about that for a shift?
That is not what you want to see if you were one of the teams on the southeast or just the east side. You can see Germany was making their way into that rotation. Chinese Taipei, USA was set up in that circle. UK, the team that actually you were mentioning had a really good strategy for the south, just has to throw that right out the window.
They could end up going all the way over to the side. I know that we, again, this is just us trying to have a think of, oh my God, that shot from Magsters.
It was so good.
Insane. But UK, I think it looks like Michael's set up. They want to maybe go a little bit further north off the back of this one. Poland are driving in and around Hosan. I think we'll see a couple of teams make the send in for there. Looks like Thailand are going to play there, Philippines, Vietnam. And, you know, you've got Argentina not too far away as it's becoming pretty full inside of the city. But what that does is free up tons of space on the periphery of the zone. Like, you look at the northwest, it's completely barren.
It's completely open. A lot of these teams also figure that they want to be inside of the city just in case it does go there. It is looking that way, but I like Korea's stance better. I think it's much easier to crash the city than it is to get out of it, especially if Circle happens to shift off of it. So I think they're doing great. Same thing with Philippines. They have a split on the edge of the city. You can see Algin bots up to the north. Wonderful stuff. And Australia is just down to Flood. And he's just going to hang out here. There's no reason for him to do anything else. He just needs to salvage points.
Now, playing devil's advocate, does he wait till late? Because it is only phase 2.
Yeah.
He could wait for the blue zone to close, go back in phase 3, get those chips, go to somewhere like school and bring them back. So I don't
think it's a bad play.
Yeah, and it's a play that 2 or 3 months ago isn't possible, and it changes what a salvage game can be.
Yes, the only issue is that even if he does do that, where are they going to land? Especially when we look at how much time it's going to take. This is probably going to close, so wherever they would want to loot is probably going to be in the blue, and that's not a guarantee of finding enough meds to actually tank it so that you can loot.
Well, if I'm Flood, I'm putting some stuff in a car, right? I'm going to get a couple of med kits in there, a couple of helmets and vests to make that possible. Indonesia now pushing in towards Himas from Vietnam. Himas with the nade at the ready. This could be really good. He tosses it underhand.
That actually might
be go. The fence caught it?
Yeah, I was going to say, if that fence didn't catch it, that might have landed right on top of Setsuna. As that one pretty much did, so he's going to get low. Yes, Indonesia trying to cover here, but Himas putting damage on everybody.
And the problem is Himas can peek from 2 or 3 different spots, which is a problem for the side. Draft King with a good nade will wipe out Cappy from Poland as all these teams inside Hosan start to lock horns. Delwyn joining the rest of Vietnam in this fight now too, as Setsuna wants to smoke his way back into some cover. Himas, 320 damage so far, no kills on the board, and that's good shots. Those shots from Teddy just pushes him back into cover, and it gives Setsuna the time that he needed to join the rest of his team inside the barns.
Yeah, and speaking of that wrap rotation you were calling from southwest to south, or southeast to southwest, it's actually Germany that made that rotation. Of course, Breaks doing what he does best, and yeah, he's led his entire team to a completely open West Coast.
Yeah, and I spotted that Flood is gone now, so I think he has gone to get those. The compound he left, depending on how quickly he gets it back in, but this circle right now becomes a problem because all those teams in Hosan are begging for that to go their way, but if it doesn't, it's just meat grinder.
This is what I was talking about. It's much easier to get into this or crash the city than it is to get out, especially when you have this just absolute crazy condensation of teams.
Oh my God, Fluky. Just deleting Algin bots on the north side of Hosan as Philippines move in as well. And it's something that I've always preached as well. Yeah, like you said, it's so difficult to get out. It's the teams that play the extremities, like Indonesia and Vietnam, that have the best chance of getting out. But if you're Argentina, if you're, I think not China. I'm trying to think that's Poland that are just inside with them. It's so hard to get out of Busan here.
Well, also if you're on the extremities, you can just try to farm the teams that are trying to get out. So it just works out beautifully. As we can see, Korea, Salute now is taking the fight over towards the UK. And they're now sandwiched in between Denmark. This is a very precarious position for the UK.
Yeah, and what did Denmark do? We saw their decision-making be perfect in the last map. I think if the UK or Korea get a couple of knocks either side, they might just be tempted to go this way. Salute down to 42 HP, but Soul with a scar will find Vard. Wrapping his way around again now, getting the nade at the ready as Vard is about to bleed out. Team UK, after a huge game in match number 2, they've gone head-to-head with Korea, who seem to be pretty annoyed that they've been losing ground to Vietnam all day long. And I can see, is that Philippines sending mortar? It is.
It is.
Denmark too.
It's double borders here just on the side of this hill that you can see the UK fighting on, and these are not getting too close, so there's still some time for the UK to try to recover, but Ketter now will find another knock.
Yeah, Raining keeping an eye on where Michael is playing. Salute has an idea that Fex is down on the other side of that rock, having read the kill bird. We'll keep on casting as Ketter will get that point onto Fex. But UK, they wrapped into the one potential place you didn't want to go, and that was right into Korea. And while all this is going on, nobody else is really pushing off the back because everyone else is locking horns. Look, USA and Brazil on the south side of the circle, they're causing themselves some trouble as well.
Yeah, the issue for them is China waiting in the wings for whatever happens between these two teams, especially if start to go out and they're no longer able to recover efficiently, that's when China's just going to come in and swoop up all these kills.
Yeah, sparking inside the blue. Raining will get that knock on to Michael. He was trying to escape, and that leaves it all down to one play. Oh my God, it's a T-ball!
What is happening?
You know what? All gas,
Bye-bye.
no brakes. Brazil, they take a few to the grave with them. USA with just Alo left alive now, and Kurt. But that was, you know what? If you're going to go down with like Brazil, go down swinging.
I mean, if that's what you want to call it, they just drove straight into the vehicle of USA. For better or for worse, as you can see now, Korea making their way into the new edge, and the Hosan saga will continue as it is starting to just barely get inched out.
Does T-Bone have any utility? Can he throw anything into the smoke as Denmark begin wrapping around Chinese Taipei, who've been much improved over the course of the last 2 days from an aggression standpoint? They're rotating in. And I think, you know what, go back. This is not where you want to be. You don't want to go near the UK and Korea at this position. I think they'll just wait here for a little while, find some more meds. T-Bone, though, let's jump back to Vietnam, though, as they're in that battle for Hosan.
You can see that's a knock and flush onto Luke 12, so he was brought back by his teammate Flood. And this is the problem, though. You get brought back so late, where are you going to loot? There really wasn't anything for them.
Was Luke the only player he got?
It might have been. I mean, you can see Flood currently the south side in the blue is Indonesia fighting desperately for any form of reprieve, but it's going to be Samoy taken down. Hamas is going to flush TD with a grenade, and even Thailand is getting involved in this.
Yeah, Vietnam, they are on top of the leaderboard. 3 more kills, 111 points for them so far, as we're getting closer and closer to the halfway point of PNC. Setsuna, who's been so impressive at getting damage for Indonesia, has only got 42 this time around, but was involved in that defense. As Thailand now are looking, looks like they're sending it to Denmark.
Where are these going?
Is 157 meters the right distance?
I'd say yes. Yes, it is. Right on top of them, they just spread out just barely, but Cumin will find Keter because they have to get out of cover.
Yeah, this is good for Korea. 2 kills on the board for them now. Fluky looks like he's sending another one in. Might just adjust it a couple of meters back and forward. Still at 157. This one's going to land, and Denmark know that they can't move around. Like they have to keep jumping through the smoke, and that opens up the angles for Korea. It's Lil Ghost this time from China who gets the angle and gets that knock onto Doffy, but it's not looking good for Denmark. It's a good position, but the utility usage from other teams is putting them under threat for the teams that can provide Overwatch.
The problem is it was a good position even before, but they knew this. I mean, Gustav knew that this was going to be the case. If they can somehow survive this onslaught for the circle to actually close and put pressure on the other teams, they're in a wonderful spot. But because everyone is so focused on them, they have absolutely nothing left. Smokes, probably next to nothing. Their vehicles exploded, flipped. Probably not even providing that much cover anymore.
Yeah, China are going for Denmark now. So are Chinese Taipei taking to the sky, but China, they're going to go right into this position. They'll use the fortress that Denmark created. There's the crash. Exit jumps out. Beanie got one, but Denmark eliminated. And now Korea need to move inside the circle. Does anybody push on to China? Ming Ming will fall in the hands of CJ. What in the heck is going on inside of Hosan?
And Leo just desperately trying to get down and get some loot. He won't get it, but China also being punished. This is the issue. You cannot take this position too early. And now Korea is in the mix.
Yeah, this is big for Korea. 5 kills for China. Xlift, the last player standing. Philippines, they're throwing nades in there as well as they look to do some damage. 10-Trip is going to get saluted. Soul will rock on in. Min will go down. 10-Trip with another knock onto Korea. Philippines stepping up. Xleft with a knock. This is huge for China. This is devastating for Korea. And Philippines are just being a problem.
Xleft! Are you kidding me? The graveyard of dreams here. It's just China that survives.
And how long? Because Germany know exactly where Xleft is. But Philippines, they have just been the holders of the gate for so many teams over the course of the last day and a half.
And Xleft, there's no reses left. It's just down to him. He does have 4 kills. China at least with a healthy amount of points so far in this game, but they're still not even to the points yet. There is still 12 teams alive in this circle, the majority of which are now stuck in the north side of Hosan.
Germany with a fantastic position on the north side of the circle as well. Angles everywhere. DraftKings and Emmy. Best case scenario for Korea now is for somebody to deal with Vietnam as they have 7 kills on the board. Another point for Argentina, who are in the center of Hosan. UK finally fall at the hands of Mika as we go down to 11 teams. There's almost 22 minutes gone, and we're still 3 teams away from the placement points.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you have like a big city ending like Hosan, and then you still have enough of the extremities you were talking about earlier, where teams occupy and really dictate how the teams inside or even on the edge of the city move. We saw that with Aix-Left. We saw the multiple teams trying to take that. I mean, that position was so good, but it's just nigh impossible to hold when you have teams like Germany and Korea and even the Philippines looking at that dip.
Yeah, and I think you got to give so much credit to Aix-Left as well, like the way he played that, knowing that Philippines were allies.
Crazy.
And he was running to exactly where the nades had just gone off as well, knowing that the likelihood was they weren't going to double down. And he just was insane with a 10 trip.
Well, and the car swap at the end to get Guman was so good.
Aix-Left, look, he's repairing something. He's got a repair kit. I wonder if it's some gear, whether it's a vehicle. He might need the vehicle now, because what about that for a shift? Keeping Hosan in a little longer.
Vietnam here on the south side of this will have to make their way in. They do limp in here. Tan Vu will be the front man for the team. As you can see, he's trying to get some damage here on what's left of Indonesia.
Yeah, Flood's still alive for Australia as well. He can hear all these footsteps. Could he be the ally that these home fans want? Halo. Halo says no. As USA. Halo. And we won't do any more in case we get in trouble on the broadcast. As the nades and volleys go, this is Vietnam pushing it now towards Indonesia. And honestly, Flood being cleared by USA has done Vietnam such a favor as well.
Yeah, it really did. That was a backstab waiting to happen. Is now Kiss and the rest of Thailand in a beautiful position to punish all these teams trying to get to the edge. Phase 6 will be closing somewhat soon, but the battle
there we go.
And the movement here for
there we go.
So clean, the awareness. Himas is gonna just get rid of Indonesia when he finds Trick.
Himas and Aix-Left, 2 of the best players that we've ever had, are just putting on a show today and over the course of the weekend. Poland still alive, 2 points for them, but look at that, Pufa, MG.
It's the best position they've had in arguably the last couple days, so good for them. They have 3 members alive. They do have something to play just in front of them on the edge. That building is still in, so they will have to deal with Argentina and the solo of Norway, but they do have a path in, which is the most important thing with 3.
Yeah, but look at Argentina's position in the circle at the other side of the crossroads. They can gatekeep Poland really effectively. Poland need a knock on, like they're fighting with James, but it's Emmy or Capitan.
Oh!
Matchers is kind of nasty with it.
That's a second just beautiful money headshot he's gotten here.
I love a bolty shot. Oh, that nade. That, is it a smoke?
I think it's a smoke. Yeah, self-thrown smoke.
Yeah. Sometimes you see the color and you're like, oh no, this could be really bad. But Tentrip going to get back on his feet as Aix-Left will be forced to move now by the blue as well. Maybe he's just going to stay in there and med and try to limit the placement points. Tentrip goes down to the blue once more. And I think for Philippines, you can't really get that res now, can you? Maybe there's a chance. It was a BZ, I guess, that got him, right?
No, yeah. They're in the blue. It's hurting too much. Masters will find the nade, and so Philippines will fall. A little bit of revenge there for Poland finally onto the team of the Philippines.
Took long enough, right? Took long enough. I love Germany's position. Like Germany, if anything, Germany needs to make sure that they don't get too busy, right? Sometimes you can get bored in a position like this when you see everything else happening and you're just not involved.
Well, again, it's just their playstyle right now, and so far in this lobby is really not giving them a lot of credence to points, right? They have good position, but they haven't been able to kill much or even steal much.
Vietnam kept in by that circle as Thailand now hold the center of the zone, but they'll expect a lot of traffic to come their way pretty soon. I think once the fight between Argentina and Poland starts happening, you might see Fluky fall back and join the rest of his team, or at least get a little, he's going to make that move now. There's no point risking it with so many players left alive. Argentina, James with a C4 play here. Is James going to send this towards Argentina, or does he go somewhere else?
What is he just planted it on the car that he was next to? I mean, oh, he's using it for Poland.
Didn't need it. Didn't need it in the end, but Norway pick up another point on the Pufa, and Poland, well, they are now down and out as the team that are in second last pick up a point off the team. Do you hear the crowd as they saw XF just get into the circle? They got so excited about that Godspeed.
And that's a good spot for him as well. It's going to be impossible for anyone to see. Now, he is just outside of the circle, but that building, he's got so much space to work with. Meanwhile, Emmy is going to get the double onto James, and he will go down, so Norway is eliminated. But a nice salvage from him for his team. Norway struggled in the beginning of this one, and he was at least able to get them in the points.
XLEF now prone inside the poly tunnel. He'll be able to catch anybody that moves this way. I think this is just good for him. Stay alive, stay in the fight. Argentina, USA, Vietnam, all on the southeastern side of the circle now. USA have done a great job having lost players earlier, avoiding trouble inside of Hosan, but they've got to make their next step inside the circle. Do they go towards Argentina? Do they go towards Vietnam? But Vietnam, look at where they're looking. Those players' eyes are solely locked on the edge of the blue and any potential threat coming from inside the city.
I'm trying to see the terrain that Germany is working with on the outside here, and how much they're actually going to have to move as Alo sets up with the Panzer. It's just him and Purdy. They've been able to move and navigate throughout the city fairly unscathed as a duo. So you can see the three members of Argentina and Capitan are also in this very position. The spray from Hemas still 3 strong, 9 kills for the team of Vietnam, but they are currently not even in position to get punished by anyone else in the lobby. I mean, they're just going to crew unless Thailand pushes and takes more space, which I don't think they will because there's no need for that risk. Vietnam's probably just going to get right underneath them.
Yeah, Thailand are just happy with what they have right now. And one thing about Hemas shooting that window, that gives Argentina a good idea of where USA are as well, because they hear that glass break, so you now know where the other team is. Argentina, they look like they're on the move now. They're trying to consider their next step, and Alo, he lets the first one go. Much like when you see cars rotate past, he's waiting for the last player. He wants to get the final one that moves in, and this could be so clever from Alo if he pulls it off.
USA are the furthest ones out of the circle. They have to move forward into that nade on Capitan. If he can get a second one and a knock, that's an opportunity. He is going to get out of the way. So it's going to have to be the hard way here. Oh, there we go. Alo will find one, but they need to cross the street. Time is running out. Blue is starting to push them.
Big thing is
and Tanvu steals it.
Of course, Vietnam steal that point away. Kurt now with the S12 shotgun. Alo will fall with a nade from Capitan. Kurt now with the shotgun, wipes out Argentina. It's another point for USA.
But he's not in. I don't think there's no time for the res.
It's going to be tight. No,
I don't think there's time. There's just not enough time, and Kurt realizes it.
Yeah, so he's going to get whatever he can off of Alo. He'll get whatever med kits, whatever utility. He's going for it. He's going for it. Oh, he gets him.
Oh,
he gets
my
him.
goodness, that was so tight.
Oh, he's going. The wall's just outside the circle, though. They still need to take another step, and it looks like Vietnam are ready to take advantage.
But they need smokes. They're not in. That's not in the circle.
Oh, this is tight. Vietnam as well. They're still... Vietnam are in the circle here as well. They're in such a good position for another salvage game. The XLEF from China will get that kill. This man, he is just loving life. And Fluky gets both with the nades.
Yeah, they had full vision of exactly what USA was trying to do. Even though the knock came out from XLEF, it didn't matter, but XLEF with a P90, hold on a second. He finds and flushes Fluky.
5 kills and a P90. He is still not done yet. Vietnam, they're going to close the gap now. All that happening has opened up the opportunity for them to get closer and closer to Thailand. Thailand desperately throwing whatever utility they have this way to hold back the push. But Tanvu is still alive. Germany, they're hoping to pick up the pieces here.
Yeah, but I mean, Germany has to move into the circle as well because it's Thailand that actually has control of center dot, but I don't know for how much longer. As you can see, Vietnam is starting to push, and they are right on the they're on the doorstep as he's gonna come through. Jacob will find one, but he will not get another. here. Solozzi with the trade.
Vietnam are on the move once more. They've got 2 players up, but Kiss is going to get a double, and he's going to step up, but Himas will find the kill, and Vietnam 1 player alive. China, Xlef's reign of terror will be ended by Himas, who finds another kill. 14 for Vietnam. He's the last player standing. Another knock, and another one.
Oh my god, they're fucking monsters.
And he picks up so many points, and they're looking to put not just Vietnam, but their Vietnam on the trophy with the way they're playing today.
This is disgusting in a 1 versus 2 now. That grenade will do some damage and buy some time for Germany to push up, but he switches the angle. There is no way he's going to win this game. As he doesn't, Germany will put an immediate stop to that.
Wow, what an effort for Himas. Germany get the win. But even look at Germany. They're disappointed because they got the 10 placement points, but they got nowhere near as many kills as they would have hoped when they took that position outside the city. But if you're trying to make a case for who is the best player in the world, Himas and Xlef both put in really good tape on that game.
That was almost a disaster from Germany. That angle that he took as well on the right side of that tank, water tank, whatever it was so dangerous. But the problem still remains, even though it was Germany who claimed that game. Vietnam just got too many points.
They're insane. They're actually insane. Like Himas running up, like Kiss thought that he'd done enough, and then Himas just runs up behind him. And the fact that as soon as he got that kill, he didn't stop. He was like, I know Germany are there.
He immediately switched on to Germany. Exactly. It was
like, honestly, this has been an incredible first half of PNC for Vietnam. The story is not done. There's still so much that can change. But as of right now, through 9 maps, they have been phenomenal. And it's, yes, you look at last year, the argument was they had too many fraggers, not enough passiveness in their team. They make the change. My God, do they look like they're on another level.
It's also what's really astounding here as we look through these highlights is that this is arguably one of the craziest lobbies we've had. I mean, every single team is stacked. There is no quote-unquote weak link, right? And it's just the domination that they're still exhibiting is something else.
Think about the players for Vietnam that aren't here. Think about Clories. Like, it's insane. And then, you know, you talk about stacked lobbies, or second place team Korea. You could make another roster of 4 players from Korea who could perform just as good. Like, they're so stacked. Again, we're getting away from it, like the fact that Germany played a brilliant game. It all kind of stemmed from that rotate they took, really, you know, what was it, phase 2, phase 3, where they went all the way from the east side of the circle to the northwest through that western side. But look at this. The spray transfer was perfect from Himas. And he knew that there was no angle on him, so he confirmed out those extra kills as well.
The fact, again, just the wherewithal to know that he needs to clean up those 2 kills, right? It's just, he's not just, he's a very cerebral player, and that's what makes him so dangerous. On top of the fragging ability that he has, he's very intelligent in how he approaches those frags, how he approaches those fights, those angles. Man, look at him. He's just eating it up. Just an absolute stud and a monster.
You know those little, like, little pentagram signs that you get, or you know, the like 5's the, it's the right word, where it like has awareness, fragging ability, you know.
You're talking about the Venn diagram.
Yeah,
not the pentagram.
That's another team, but they've maxed out. He's maxed out all the stats.
He's maxed out everywhere for sure. For sure.
Oh, they're so good. But let's have a look at our top 4. Vietnam, of course, will get the most points. No surprise there. 16 kills. 23 nades.
And again, though, big congratulations for Germany. They held their space in the north so impressively, but their playstyle is just not conducive for getting a lot of kills. And if they really want to start catching up, they need to have higher kill games where they're still maintaining the same level of control and they're getting at least second or first place, because this is a massive hill to climb now towards the top 3 teams.
If anything as well, I'd say Korea are starting to look over their shoulder at China, who've been closing that gap. Let's look at our man of the match, though, and it's going to be Mika with 2 kills. And yes, we're going to give it to the team that wins. But again, Germany, from a macro standpoint, played a brilliant game.
Yes, they did. I'm not going to disagree with that. But again, with how crazy this lobby is and how stacked the top already is when we look at the leaderboard, you know, getting 12, 13 points here or there, unless they're getting it every game, I mean, they need to have more kills throughout the day. That's just how it is. And that's just not Germany, by the way. That's every team that wants to try to break into that top 5.
Yeah, and it's going to be so hard as we look at our match leaderboard. See how many points were garnered in that game. And it was a 22-point game for Vietnam in second place. Germany got 14, China with 14 of their own as well. And then you look at, like, I hate to bring it up, but our reigning champions just have not had the start today that they would have liked.
I believe the first game, I think they had like 5 or 6 kills. They were kind of getting in the mix there, but yeah, they have been thwarted, especially when we look at the last position that they had on the north side in that graveyard where we saw so many teams go. There really wasn't many options, and so it was kind of rough for them to get anything else off that game.
Yeah, Vietnam now on 130 points at the halfway point. Like, they're not going to replicate the first 9 maps, but if they did, they would get 260 points over those games. Korea now just 2 points ahead of China. Thailand starting to close that gap as well as they get to 70. Denmark with another okay game for them has them on 65. Argentina still ahead of USA, and Germany rounding out our top 8. UK though, still see them climbing the leaderboard, but for Poland and Norway, who were opposite sides of the scale in survival series, right? One team dominant, got into the top 3. The other team last-ditch entry. They've just really not got going.
No, they haven't, but at least for Poland in that last game, they got out of that entanglement they had with the Philippines, and they were able to get to an end game with 3 players. So that at least is a bright spot.
Yep.
Hoping they can continue that moving forward, because they absolutely need to.
Yeah. So last night on the bus on the way home, Shrimsey had said, you know what, it's not too bad. We're 2 games off the top spot, 2 wins off top spot, 3 before the 6th game. They're about 4, they're about 5 now. It's insane.
The gap is just getting wider and wider, but USA did manage to kind of salvage that game, right? We saw it was Kurt and Alo at the end, but even then, not a lot, but a couple of their kills got stolen anyways.
I think for Denmark though, like, they're in a really good position too. Like, their opportunity to break into the top 3 is in such a good spot right now. You look at the roster they had, I'm actually so happy because I talked about it yesterday, but I bigged up Keter and Doffy so much to you and Paper, and their day 1 of survival stage was not good. But how good have they been since that point? Like, Keter as an upcoming player inside of Europe,
a lot of talent,
so much potential.
Yeah, a lot of talent for sure. I mean, we've even seen it from players that aren't even in this stage, right? Who didn't make it. There's a lot of talent up and coming in PUBG, and that's we need that. We need that fresh injection of players, of younger players coming in and learning the game, learning from the experienced players, and then becoming the superstars, you know, that they can possibly be.
Well, look at how good Brazil has gotten in the last few months, giving players an opportunity, and too with the likes of BL and Santa, you know, they earned the right to be here. I think. You know, you look like maybe Argentina, the faces are a little bit more storied for a long time. But Argentina have had put on a good showing here as well over the course of the week.
Yeah, and they got that win early in Miramar, so that was a good boost for them, but they really need to build on top of that. And one thing with Argentina that I'd love to see is they are starting to get more and more proactive. It looks like even though it has been somewhat of a struggle, they're still finding that confidence to get those skills and push out of their compound and be more proactive.
Well, the 64 players have got through passport control. They're on the plane, and we are changing the destination. It is Toronto coming up now for these teams, and this is a map that plays oh so different to the rest. It's got its own intricacies. It's got the EMP zone. It's got those monoliths, those spires that teams like to play on top of, and not to mention probably my favorite vehicle in the game right now, the Pika Bus.
Yeah, Pika Bus is awesome. But the one thing to note about this plane is it's very southern, so I'd actually love to see a Tin Long Garden ending. Like, just the terrain all the way down to the south is so good and conducive for just playing on foot and pushing teams. So I would really love to see that. As long as we just don't go to Jadena City, I'll be happy.
The thing is, right, Tin Long, some designers, map designers and developers, made an absolutely beautiful part of the map. Like, it's so
It is.
scenic down there.
We never see it.
Never
We
get to
never see it.
So,
oh, what is this? Hold on, there is 3 teams in Jadena City right now.
when is there ever one team in Jadena City? Right, anyways, we're going to get stuck into the action here. Godspeed. James running towards 10 triple. Looks like he doesn't have a gun in his hand yet. Wonder how well 10 will he find. Oh, yeah, James.
Oh, Jeeps.
Point on the board there. Now, you look at it, right, Norway, it looks like Philippines went for like a Jadena City split. And Norway were like, yeah, we can't get to our main drop, we're going to go to our alt drop. But I can't remember the last time if I've ever seen the first kill of a game on Rondo being in Jadena City.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And if you're Poland, you're looking at the kill feed like, yes, yes, you know how it feels.
If you're USA or Australia, you're probably going, yes, 10 trips not here either.
Right. I mean, the Philippines have been a thorn in multiple team sides.
What I love about that is we've had a kill, and the players met it up and looted, and Germany are still parachuting from the plane drop.
Nice and slow is the best way to describe their play style, but it tends to work for them, so.
So they want to be the PNC 2025 champions. I think that's a tough ask, but inside the top 8 as things stand, a good performance here can put them right up alongside Thailand and China if they can secure a win. I think this is map yesterday's where we started to see some of the good play from Argentina really start to come in. They've got another good circle. I think this is the sort of circle that suits them better. They didn't get direct center, but they can loot and move into positions. Lil Ghost has extended up from China, from test track to take his position in the center of the circle as well. Shrimsy with the same mindset. So a couple of individual players with the same kind of mindset. Let's extend away from the team, secure a compound near the middle of the circle, allow the rest of the team to loot, and then join me a little later.
Yep, and you can see that's kind of what Little Ghost did as well, even though China was already well positioned in test track. You can see, though, that Australia is getting dangerously close to the team of China. Meanwhile, it's going to be High Man hiding from Kalbs, trying to maybe get a little something cheeky off this rotation out of Jadena.
He's heard something. There's the only reason he's here is he feels like Philippines are going to go for that tag or try to take on the fight. Because let's be real, Philippines are another team that's been really good at using the recall system. So it's a good idea, a good situation of understanding your enemy, understanding your opponents. But Kalbs has gone for an extremely wide wrap, and that could be a problem for him and if he isn't aware. And I think that Kalbs is being really clever about how he's playing this.
He is, but the problem is Norway knows exactly what he's doing. Highman heard his vehicle, so they know he's there. And even though he is trying to be sneaky, the element of surprise really isn't on it. I mean, you can tell he's not even worried about Jadena behind him.
Yeah, he's keeping an eye on the other side of the bridge to make sure, or just to double check if anyone from Norway had already left that position. Are there any vehicles there? But that's kind of the main talking point that we have. Other things worth noting, I suppose, at this point is how close Germany are to Denmark, as we just get that brought up on your screen by Zhao Tin as they look to move in. I think that Denmark should be aware both teams dropped off the plane at the same time. You'll see Germany rotating this way. And if you look right here, I think that's Doffy is getting so close to Mika.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're just going to run into each other here. Doffy, I'm not sure if they've seen each other quite yet. And this fight is just taking right outside the circle. So realistically, if Denmark wanted to, if Germany wanted to, they could take the time to fight this. And there really isn't another team near enough to them to actually punish this. So this could just straight up be a 4-on-4.
Yeah, Kalb's rotating back this way again. He's done a lot of scouting work, a lot of good work for his team. And Himman has not given up his ghost either. He has a job, but he scouted the bridge.
I love this. It looks like the Philippines have actually tried to counter camp Norway on this bridge, because of the information Kalbs was able to get.
I think that's great. It's really a good idea to counter that bridge. But look what Norway are doing. They're thinking that's a possibility.
So they're going north.
They're going north. It's these little
the layers.
It's chess.
Yeah.
It is chess. But the thing is, it's not one team against another. It is 16 teams on the same board. And it can just be crazy. But all these little decisions is going to impact everybody else. The fact that this has taken so long gives like Chinese Taipei, Savior, the chance to move. The fact that this fight here by Zhao Tin with Germany and Denmark has gone on for so long, it might give Indonesia the opportunity to get into the circle a little bit quicker than them. Korea could take some spots that maybe Denmark might want to play. everything is having an impact on, every player has an impact on every other player, and there's no game like it.
That's why we love it. Especially at this level, watching these teams make those decisions, navigate the difficulties, and just the variables, because that's really what PUBG is about. It's about managing the variables. Sometimes you can't. That's just the way the game is, but other times we see some truly incredible plays. You can see it looks like Australia is starting to really chase down China, and looking down, Norway still is in Jadena City, at least James is.
Yeah, Calbs has got the idea that they're still going to hold for that recall system, right? And that's why Himmin is still here. He's like, I want to make sure that they have no chance of getting it. Himmin has gone down to the low ground, and that might cause some problems. They're so close. They have no clue.
This is crazy.
They're running.
Oh, I think he saw him.
He knows.
Hyman finally
And
saw him, but Calbs turns.
They both know. They both know. The game is up. The game is up now.
The
and
jig is up.
Oh, my.
What is going? They're just mirroring each other. This is a dance.
What
Both
the
players like, I'm
fuck?
going to outbrain you. You're going to run back, or you're going to keep running. I'm going to run around and wrap and catch you.
Ring around the rosy.
You know what we
So
need?
silly, but so sick at the same time. I mean, this is. It may look funny, but this is actually very high level.
You know the Benny Hill music?
Yes, I do.
Just play that over this, and it is perfect. Himmin, though, I think he's got himself in a bit of a tough spot because he needs to vault up now or jump, which will make a ton of noise. I think Calbs, if I'm looking at the rest of the players, you've got CJ looking this. Oh, the rest of Norway have come back.
They want to deny this.
This is going to cut him off. This is so much fun. Itzy's going to get up onto Calbs' seat. Itzy now too.
And he sees it, and he knows he's in trouble now. But there's another player from Norway looking, and it's going to be James. He's going to take a spray. Nothing hits. Fortunately for Calbs, and he's going to make it out of there. They're just going to give up.
All that for nothing.
You say nothing, but I mean, look at this. He's like, ha, I bet they think I'm truly gone.
It's just like every player's like trying to big
And
brain
this
the
is
other
all
one.
for 10 Trip, by the way.
Yeah. The battle for 10 Trip. That tag. It's like Saving Private Ryan.
Hashtag battle for 10 Trip. I mean, that's literally what this is. Norway refuses to give up. And you know what? 10 Trip is a damn good player to keep off the field because he is a menace.
And Norway have nothing to lose here either in 14th
They really
place.
don't. Yeah, I mean, well, also with the circle being the way it is, they have an easy path in on the east if they get rid of Philippines. So this is fine. And get more points. Why not?
And the longer this goes on, the more space that actually will be opened as teams move closer to the center of the circle. Now, as we see, the blue zones got involved. Norway are pinging out where they think these players are. Calbs has got, see, Intense doesn't want to shoot until he's guaranteed the knock.
Yes, which is wise.
And that knock won't come until Calbs spots somebody. There you go, there's the hit. He needed the second shot. I think he fired at the right time because Calbs whipped out the bolty.
Well, he also stopped in that bush, and he thought he was probably unseen.
Yeah. So what's going on elsewhere? What's been happening on everywhere else inside of Rondo?
Not much, honestly. All these teams have just managed to find themselves a good position in the circle, and everyone is just waiting. I mean, that's pretty much the game. And with a map like Rondo, generally every circle is going to be on playable land, right? You're not going to have too many areas that's unplayable. So this is generally what happens early in Rondo. You don't see too much craziness happening as far as fights, early crashes, because there's just so much real estate that you can actually play.
And Saving Private 10 Trips looks like it's about to happen, so Philippines will go get that tag, and 10 Trip, the menace, will be back. Inside of Neox factory, you've got UK getting really close to Australia, who are holding on to this position, not only due to its value, but due to the fact the recall system's there. Australia's done that a few times over today.
Yeah.
And I think UK, Vard with the eye in the sky, he's decided, you know what, I don't think this is our best play. I think you're better to fall back. And Vard's going to scout out the circle. And that's going to shift heavy to the south. And that's really good news for Philippines.
That's incredible for Philippines. All right, that's good for Philippines, but that's incredible for USA and for Thailand. They are in prime real estate position. Calbs, of course, will get up 10 Trip. And you know what? I love the fact that Philippines just weren't going to give up. They're going to get that fourth player, or they're going to find a team and die for it.
Yeah, and look, he's worth it. Like 10 Trip,
he is worth it.
He's the breakout player of PNC for me, right? His stocks are on the up. Denmark are hunting down China now. Zhao Wu and Little Ghost are in the same Datsy. They're going to hit a tree. That'll hit them and move on. And I think Denmark, they hopped out for the fight. China are going to move on. they'll continue to go north. And there's no harm with Denmark chasing because they're still so close to center.
Yeah.
And I think that even though you didn't get a knock, just by putting that pressure on the China and forcing them away, it's a good move.
It is, and China also just getting away from that fight also find themselves in a strong position here currently in this split. The only real threat is going to be the split above at Brazil, but they don't have to move for a while either.
Chinese Taipei, they're rotating in from the north. They'll intersect Korea and Australia, going past test track as things stand. Salute spots them out, but even as good as Salute is, that's a tough one. Give us some dogfight. Come on, Vard. Yeah, he's going for it.
A little aerial battle, if you will.
Luftwaffe.
Flight of the Valkyrie should be playing. Now we had Benny Hill earlier. Now we should get some Flight of the Valkyrie as these two
but the
teams.
blue zone, or I say the EMP zone, Ixlef will find sparking in the distance.
That's a really long knock.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the sparking should be able to get picked up. That shouldn't be a problem for him. Little Ghost, though, is going to take some time to get a spray out towards Chinese Taipei, and they're, I mean, I would be surprised if he hit any of those. That is a crazy distance to try to hit something. Gustav as well will find a small amount of damage, but nothing crazy. I say that, but Ixlef will find Malrush, and the flush will come from Zhao Wu.
Yeah, Savior looks like he's going to jump out too. It looks like they're going to lock into this fight with Denmark as Gustav will start tossing his nades across the road. They've got deployable shields up to provide extra cover. Leo is looking to wrap up onto the high ground on the other side. All these nades are going to naturally flow into the valley that Denmark are in, so even if you go long, it rolls back. But Leo almost had the chance. He had him dead to rights, but he didn't get the knock.
Oh, the Snade, though. The Snade could be absolutely huge. It bounces, fortunately, for Denmark, but it's Savior now with a separate angle. And a Molly, this is so much pressure for Denmark to deal with, and they're getting picked apart.
Gustav down and out now. Daffy and Ketter need to work together. Jia Wei with another nade of his own being thrown in. That's another good nade, but the vehicle's going to take the brunt of the shrapnel. That nade could be a little bit better. The vehicle explodes and Jia Wei eventually gets it done. And Denmark deleted, and here come the Chinese.
Chinese now trying to pick up the pieces. The problem is Chinese Taipei didn't incur any losses at all. None of them knocked, but they might get punished here for going for the loot.
The terrain works for China as they push towards Chinese Taipei. Good nade thrown on in. Could do a ton of damage. Ming Ming will find the knock on the Savior, and now it's all systems go for China. Another nade will be tossed as he tries to read a player, going for the res. Fluky was in the sky, and he's just been...
I love that opportunity. I was going to say Fluky generally will flex out from Thailand and try to get involved in these third parties to pick some points, but he just happened to knock himself. I don't know what happened there, but China now full steam ahead is going to push forward. Leo will find one to try to stop them, but Zhao Wu will get control.
And Brazil got a push now. China are weak. They've sustained a knock, but how quickly can you get into position? Sparking and BL just do the exact same thing China did. Throw your nades into the valley. Trick from Indonesia gets Sulawesi from Vietnam, and that's a big knock for Indonesia as they look to secure this section of the map. Himas is still alive, though, on the south side of Yulin. Himas, he's just
better.
It's not fair.
He's just better. It is what it is.
It's like, honestly, it's not fair. He's literally got plot armor, he's got level 7 gear, he's just insane. Himas is going to move in, he'll get the res on the Tanvu. Trick will do the same on the Setsuna. But Delwyn, he'll start to get the off angle here as well. The rest of Vietnam, or these Vietnamese players, they've been in this situation before.
And this is a crazy rotation from Korea, as this is completely blind. There's no way they could have known that any of this space was open. That's why they currently are out in the open area.
I don't like this position.
I don't like it either. I mean, they can get protected by USA depending on what UK does here, but yeah, I mean, at least they made it into the circle for now.
Yeah, UK will rock up onto these silos here, and that's bad news bears for, I think, Korea if they get that angle. But for now, Korea will just look to set up. Maybe they just wait.
Looking at the position, though, there really isn't anyone that can punish Korea, so this is low-key genius.
Depends on if Norway can get to the ridgeline to the north of them, and then they've got a great line of sight in towards Korea. Yeah, Korea, I think they've made the right decision.
They realize that the West is way better. That ridge, I agree 100% with them and with you.
Yeah, so I think they heard UK fully. Maybe they wanted to check that out, but they heard UK, the shots from USA fall back, And that cuts off Norway from that position now too. So in reality, not only have you got there first, you've given Norway less of an opportunity for a rotate into the zone.
Yeah, this is wonderful decision making from Korea. They will find themselves now in one of the stronger positions currently.
Yeah, Hemas just doing Hemas things. He get the knock and flush onto Setsuna, as that's point 132 now for Vietnam. They have sustained one knock as a player is down, but that shouldn't be for too long, as it should get everybody back on their feet. Norway just a couple of seconds too.
Oh, 80!
I was gonna say they were too late to the party, but that knock all of a sudden gives them a chance. And oh no, Korea have got a Panzer. Korea have got the perfect answer if Norway try to full send it in.
Oh, and what a shift.
Look at Heyman. Heyman got raining and Guman. And USA are helping out Korea.
That is craziness. Norway fighting tooth and nail, and USA just coming in and ruining things for them.
I like the aggression from Norway. Korea now Seoul, the only real player standing, and Tens will pick up kill number 3. You can hear the Norwegian fans, they like that. The Korean fans, not so much, as we have silence elsewhere. China will move into the circle now as they get pretty close to where Seoul is playing. This bowl right now that China are in, I like it. I actually think it's okay.
It's good, but unless Seoul makes a heroic effort here, he's coming up on the backside of China. I don't know if they're ready for this though, but Ming Ming will spot him out.
Oh, he's going to switch over to the gun now. He doesn't have time for the nade. Kickstart though is going to help. Seoul is eliminated. But just like that, Korea lose even more ground in China. They now jump without in second place. And Vietnam are going to get Sololze back. They're back to a 4. It is big for Vietnam.
Someone needs to stop Vietnam, man. They are just running away with this. They are unstoppable.
Gonna need to get like a bounty on their heads at this point.
I might take the whole lobby, honestly, at this point. I'm not even sure. Australia, though, continuing to struggle. Luke 12 out all the way in the blue. And he's gonna get taken down by Algin bots.
Yeah, Philippines, they got their man back. 10 trip. He'll get the knock onto Santa with the Dragonov. And 10 trip will get his point, showing why it was so important to bring him back into play. Brazil, they don't want any of it. They're going to leave Santa to his fate. They'll keep going into the circle as Thailand will get a kill confirmed on to Argentina. And here come the Germans.
Germans indeed. And they still have to contend with UK as well. Micah is going to find Draft King. That's going to be the first of them to fall. Emmy now just trying to survive, get the hell out of there. He's going to stop down tentatively close to China's dip. He'll be okay for now. In fact, it's just Emmy.
See if Emmy gets a couple of points from this position now for placement. Korea are going to be like, we had that. That's exactly where we pulled up. And we left a little earlier. We were like, oh, this is brilliant by Korea. Just to get wiped by Norway. China, Vietnam, there comes Sololze back into the fray. He'll be able to land and hopefully get some loot for himself. Philippines as well. They're going to wrap in very close now to Thailand. It looks like Calbs went for the crate. Thailand are really close by, and USA are looking this way too. But the thing is, because of the terrain, USA can do nothing about it. Even though they're so close, they just can't see these players.
Well, and this is an opportunity for Brazil to third party if these two teams start to fight. And that shift is, wow, that is money for China.
Well, that'll be the end of Argentina. Jacob getting a kill on Algin bots as Philippines now getting put to the sword. Brazil are here now too. Rossida Jr. with 10 trip. And then that'll be a kill confirmed. Philippines, player left standing up on the high ground by the blue, but Brazil with a utility to throw this way as well. That nade actually, that was friendly fire potentially, that nade from afar. And here come Indonesia as well.
Indonesia now with an opportunity to get some more kills across into the circle. And they are going to backstab beautifully, but no, it's Sparking. And the rest of Brazil able to hold them off, but now Sparking has to get them both up. And you know Thailand has recognized that this is an opportunity for them to wipe out Brazil.
Yeah, nades being tossed on in. Brazil will hear them drop on by. They don't land close enough, but Sparking will get out of there. He's going to keep on moving, but for Brazil, this has not gone to plan. 5 kills on the board will get them into 10th place. Sparking though inside the blue, 3 damage every single second. Make that 5 damage every second he stays inside the circle. ain't looking like a good game for them. But while all that was going on, Thailand chased UK, they're wrapping in, and Braxco will find a knock on the T-bone.
Poland now with a huge opportunity to get rid of Vietnam and stop their points from just overflowing and becoming too uncontrollable. And there it is. So Vietnam will fall outside of the points.
And now the door has been opened. Can China get themselves another 10, 15 points to close that gap? Well, 10 points would be great for them from this point now. Thailand wrapping in. Here's the push on to Alo. Kiss will step on in, and Kiss will shut him down. Thailand will deal with the first player. Kurt, he'll reposition. Nade at the ready. This is what Kurt is oh so good at. Bounced it off the wall. It should be good. It's great from Kurt. He fell. But is someone going to take advantage? Shrimsy wraps around the side. Deals a little bit of damage onto Jacob. But a follow-up nade will be thrown. Jacob uses the smoke to disappear off into the distance. And while all this is going on, Kiss is getting that res.
Yeah, this would be a disaster for USA to fall. They've been in this position for so long. They've held it, but they weren't able to get any kills out of it. You stated it was rough, and look at this. Poland now fighting back.
Kickstart.
Kickstart knocks
C4. He C4'd him. He got Jacob. He took himself down, but he might have just opened up an opportunity. PNC with the MG3 firing towards Poland as they want to get involved. Cappy will fall. Norway eliminated 5 kills from Poland. So much better from the Poles over the last 2 maps.
They are really coming alive, but it's just down to Shrimsy. He has the Panzer. The Molly is out the front. He's gonna get one, but it's not done yet. His work is not over. As he's still low, Jacob, as well as Kiss, still stand.
Yeah, he's gonna step into the smoke. Blue zone nades to try
the
hold
double,
back the push.
double blue zone.
It's gonna be really, really good, but Kiss is wrapping around the edge. There's a shield protecting Shrimsy. That is all Kiss needs to know to work out where Shrimsy is. Smoke in position. Kiss will just bide his time and wait, but a good the stun actually helps out Shrimsy a little bit, but Kiss will get the kill. And down fall the USA. Thailand, they jump into third. I think they've now leapfrogged over Korea as well.
What a save from Thailand. And as you stated, the leaderboard is getting even tighter there, at least from second to fourth. As Germany now, relatively quiet, but still managed to get 5 kills controlling the south side of the circle. Great job for them. We said we wanted to see more kills out of their edge control, and so far this game they've delivered.
Yeah, and back-to-back wins for them if they can get it would
be huge.
And honestly, this is even better because they're holding zone control. Chris and Zeraf are staying in the circle. Brax and Mika are watching what Poland are going to do from this point. I think Poland are making the right choice. Maybe play the edge of the circle a little bit longer.
Even wrap north.
Yeah. And like Sparking's still alive, by the way. It's worth pointing out.
Crazy. This blue is hurting, by the way. This is phase 6. The fact that he's still alive, I wonder if he has enough meds to get in. You can see Ike's left now and Little Ghost, the duo left of China, trying to fight the duo of Thailand. Kiss and Jacob now inching closer and closer in. This fight is happening inside the circle, but look at Poland. The opportunity for kills is there.
Yeah, the opportunity as well. China looking to get up into the 90s, and you got Thailand looking to hunt them down. X-Step throws it down. Cappy gets the angle onto Jacob, but not enough with one to get the knock. That'll be Chris finding matchers as the Germans turn their attention to the Poles, and Chris will pick up that kill. Poland down to 2 players left alive, but Cappy not done yet, firing towards China as they will dip back into cover. 2 players up. But do Thailand have the utility? It looks like they don't after that fight with USA.
No.
One nade could be all it would take to deal with China.
And you can see the position here of Germany. Brex holding far anchor, and then the other 3 members pushing up towards the team of Poland in order to wipe them out and get a few more kills on the board until they start to turn their focus onto Thailand and China.
Germany looked like they might have gotten some level 3 gear as well. Sparking, you can see the damage he has taken as he sprints directly behind Thailand. And you know this guy as much as I do. If he sees a Thai player, he will die in the blue to get that kill. He will, he couldn't poof a spot on him out. Another point for Poland as they climb that leaderboard even more. With Thailand with a 2, China with a 2, Poland with a 2, and Germany with 4. But look at how far Chris
Germany
had
has to be careful. Yeah, I was going to say, if they eat a knock here, and there it is. It's Chris will go down, and so their man advantage is just down to 3 instead of 4.
And you look at the angle that Thailand have. Why was Chris extended so far? He had zero cover.
I mean, he just wanted to get some utility onto the feet of Poland, but yeah, it definitely came back to bite him as they're all going to retreat. Now you can see Germany very careful now. They do not want to lose another player and throw this game.
Yeah, 3 is a lot. It's a lot more difficult to win a game with a 3 than it is with a 4. You can see Kiss using that shield, but Thailand need to move pretty soon. The circle is closing in on their position.
I will say, though, the good news for them is that the other teams are not in, and their path in is not easy. So Germany's still in the driver's seat. We'll see if they can execute properly here, as China is just looking for a way in, but there really isn't one.
It's just rocks. The only cover is really rocks inside a circle like this, and Germany have great angles on all of them. Cappy, no kills yet, but begging for Jacob to peek this way. Mika, don't take too much ground. You know, you don't need to get too aggressive at this point. You saw what happened a little earlier. Smoke is now going to bloom as Brax. Yeah, this rock. I think it's a good move for Brax. Go. Jacob turns his attention over, and Jacob is going to get a knock on to Cappy as Poland will suffer a lock at the edge of the circle.
Exliff now. Until you can see that he's looking for that angle, but time is running out. The move is closing in. This is phase 7. It is, you can see it chunking. Jacob will go down. Kiss will follow.
Yeah, Mika finds that kill. It's a v1, v2 now. Poland desperately trying to get that res onto Cappy, and China closing the gap. Looks like he's picked him up. He's going to carry him to the rock, but time is an issue, and he's going to fall. Jacob gets the shots, and Pufa 1 HP as Thailand with 1 player up will manage to get a kill.
Come on, Poland.
Secured, or
You
sorry,
need this.
a kill from beyond the grave, I should say. But this should be Germany's game.
Yeah, and to Germany's credit, they're really making it difficult for the other teams. They're taking a good position. Zerath will find Pufa. He will go down, and now it's just a 3-on-2. Germany versus China. Oh, but a knock from Exliff. That could start things.
That's the worst thing you could have done. Don't give China a knock. And the way Germany are playing, they're all isolated. You're giving another 1v1. You're giving Exliff another chance to get a knock. And this time it's on to Zerath. Nade, this could be brilliant. This could be so good. It bounces, Mika almost falling. But China looking to bring this game back from the brink. Mika delivering 24 damage of his own here, Godspeed. But this is 50-50.
There's no support here for Mika. He's got to do this solo. You can see that angle's cut off from his teammate of Zerath. And Exliff is just working this angle.
But look at the circle. Nobody apart from Exliff and Mika are in it. There's nowhere to play for these teams once that next circle pops. So Lil Ghost is going to try to crawl his way all the way around the edge of the circle. Zerath isn't even looking this direction. He's focused on Exliff's position. He's dropped his backpack. He's dropped whatever he doesn't need to make him as low profile as possible. I'm getting flashbacks to day 1 PUBG.
Yeah, the snake in the grass strategy, and he's making his way. I mean, Little Ghost might find a spot to play. Oh, no! Exliff with a massive double and another headshot. Unreal.
China looks set for victory. Germany snatching defeat from the hands of victory, but China's Exliff is so damn good. Little Ghost, backpack gone, but still looking to put Germany into one. The nade is thrown, but it's a little bit short. Mika needs a knock. Desperation plays now for the Germans as they try to get the win. Exliff forces Mika to eat another round of 5 of 5 of 6. But China are so good. Little Ghost with a win, and they close that gap to Vietnam.
That's gonna sting. That's gotta sting if you are Germany.
Look at the fans. They're right there. They're loving it. They're waving their flags. But it just goes to show, no matter how many players you have, no matter how good a position you're in, if someone like Exliff is given just an inch, he is going to take it and more.
And it started with them losing Chris. It started with that, then they had 3, then Exliff isolated another angle, then the pressure was on, then Little Ghost was able to prone, and they lost track of him, so it was all down to Exliff to really make the play, and of course, the second that he was given anything, just barely a pixel of a head, he ripped off Mika's top, and he was able to close out the game. What a player.
And that's some of the better aggression we've seen from China. That whole game,
yeah,